Chapter 310. Then, you reach the 7th floor? Nangong Meng asked impatiently. That's the 7th floor? Yu Riyun and Wang Lan cried out in surprise. Previously, Yu Riyun had deduced that it was the 6th floor, and that was based on the strength of the strange beasts. But if it was the 7th floor, it was a miracle that they were able to survive. That's right. The timing is also correct. When you were sucked into the space-time crack, the signboard of the 7th floor lit up. It's actually the 7th floor. No wonder the strange beasts inside are so strong. How did you survive in the 7th floor? A general asked. This was also the question that most of the people present were curious about. Although most of them hoped that Wang Lan and Yu Riyun could survive safely, no one truly believed that they could survive after accidentally entering the 7th floor. After we woke up, we found ourselves in a valley. The strange beasts inside were abnormally strong. Yu Jifeng and Bai Ji died in the mouths of those strong, strange beasts. Just when we were in despair, a bell suddenly rang. Bell? There was someone on the 7th floor? Listen to me, and you'll understand. Just when we were about to be wiped out, the bell suddenly rang. And this bell seemed to have a deterrent effect on the strange beasts. After the strange beasts left, Wang Lan and I went to the place where the bell rang. There we found an ancient sect, the Immortal Cloud sect. Speaking until here, Yu Riyun paused for a moment. Everyone present clearly revealed an interested expression, especially Nangong Meng. Nangong Meng, in particular, widened his eyes and breathed heavily. Ancient Immortal Cloud sect? That was a mysterious and powerful ancient cultivation civilization. He was also one of the researchers of the ancient civilization. He had lamented countless times how good it would be if the ancient civilization could be preserved until now. The powerful ancient civilization, coupled with the current human Takashi Hoshi and human technology, would definitely make the demons not dare to invade. How many people were there in the Immortal Cloud sect? Di Lao was still able to keep his composure and asked in a low voice. None. The Immortal Cloud sect was destroyed countless years ago. Only the main hall was preserved. The rest were all destroyed. When we arrived at the ruins of the Immortal Cloud sect, the strange beasts did not chase after us. Wang Lan speculated that the entire Immortal Cloud sect should be within an invisible bell. We were trapped in the bell to protect ourselves, so the strange beasts did not discover us, nor did they discover the ruins of the Immortal Cloud sect. No wonder. Di Lao sighs softly. This explains why the horizontal board on the 7th floor suddenly extinguished. We all thought that you were dead. If there is an invisible divine artifact that isolates your life aura, the 9th-floor pagoda will naturally think that you are dead. After that, we rested in the main hall for a while. Wang Lan discovered another suspicious point. We searched the entire Immortal Cloud sect, but couldn't find the big bell. All the buildings in the Immortal Cloud sect had collapsed, but only the main hall remained intact. Wang Lan suspected that the Immortal Cloud sect had intentionally left the hall behind. After that, we cleaned up the main hall and found 8 high-grade soul pearls. Each soul pearl was imprinted with a cultivation technique of the Immortal Cloud sect. Hearing this, everyone couldn't keep their expression straight, especially those from the royal family. All of them looked at Yu Riyun with burning eyes. What cultivation method? What grade is it? I learned a cultivation method called virtuous like water. It is a water attribute super S grade Takashi Hoshi technique. Currently, I am unable to cultivate it. This cultivation method is different from the ones we know in the past. This cultivation method seems to be a kind of general outline, a kind of ability. As for how to use it and how to use it in battle, it is up to the cultivator to develop it. Super S grade. A Takashi Hoshi technique of this grade caused everyone's eyes to emit gorgeous rays of light. In the entire Jade State, there were less than 10 Super S grade Takashi Hoshi techniques. You found 8 soul pearls all at once, and all of them were Super S grade? What kind of concept was that? If there were suitable cultivators, it would mean that a new 5 emperors could be created quickly. If there was a wide range of applicability, not to mention 5 emperors, even 10 emperors and 100 emperors wouldn't be a dream. The other Takashi Hoshi techniques are all Super S grade? It should be. I also learned a Takashi Hoshi technique, the 5 extreme fire art. Why do you have to learn a Super S grade Takashi Hoshi technique? Suddenly, an untimely voice sounded. It's fine if the princess learned it, but do you deserve it? A Super S grade Takashi Hoshi technique is a strategic treasure of the country. There are only 8 in total, and you wasted one. South Commandery Prince, are you provoking us? South Commandery Prince's words instantly made Ming explode. If Di Lao wasn't present, Ming wouldn't have to give them face. Now, how dare you scold Wang Lan in front of us? Are you bullying us, an emperor, because we don't have anyone on our side? Ming, who provoked you? That is Super S grade Takashi Hoshi technique. Can anyone waste it? Strictly speaking, these Takashi Hoshi techniques belong to Wang Lan and Yurun. Even if they learn all of them, you have nothing to say. Moreover, if your second princess can learn it, why can't Wang Lan learn it? Isn't it just a Super S grade Takashi Hoshi technique? It's not like Wang Lan hasn't learned it before. Emperor Qing, since you're here today, I've been giving you face again and again. But this time, he pointed at the monk and scolded the bald donkey. We can't tolerate it anymore. If Emperor Qing doesn't give us an explanation, we won't be friends in the future. General Zhua, please calm down. He doesn't know that Wang Lan is the son of Yin Emperor. Huh? Emperor Qing's explanation is very difficult to accept. The news that Wang Lan is the son of Yin Emperor has long spread. South Commandery Prince has been in the country of Yi for the entire year. He only returned to the country last month. It's reasonable that he doesn't know. He's the son of Yin Emperor? Then I take back what I said before. I thought he was just a student who followed the second princess to gain experience. Whether I'm the son of Yin Emperor or not has nothing to do with whether these spoils of war belong to me or not. Right? Wang Lan replied coldly. He took off his backpack and took out the 6 soul orbs inside. When the 6 soul orbs that were the size of goose eggs were placed on the table, everyone's eyes widened and their breathing became rapid. Student you, it seems that our original intention of handing over the soul orbs to the country might not be fulfilled. Since that's the case, let's split the soul orbs now. You half, I half. You pick first. Wang Lan's words immediately surprised everyone. You want to split the spoils in front of so many people? Is this okay? The reason why Wang Lan changed his mind was indeed because of the situation in front of him. He didn't expect the situation to be so clear. Originally, if he handed it over to the country, he would hand it over to the academy, and then the academy would hand it over to the national government. However, with so many people eyeing him covetously, it was hard to say who would get the soul orbs if he really handed them over. Student Wang Lan, don't mess around. What do you think this place is? Di Nangong, I'm not messing around. According to the rules, these things should be the spoils of war for student Yuriun and I. But this is a Super S level Takashi Hoshi skill. Is there a fundamental difference? Our rules are set by the people and are passed by the Congress. If you want to change the rules, you have to go through the Congress. Is the Academy trying to snatch the spoils of war from the students? Ming spoke up for Wang Lan calmly. Student Yu Ruoyan, do you choose? Yu Ruoyan looked at Wang Lan in confusion. However, Wang Lan's expression didn't seem to be joking at all. Based on her understanding of Wang Lan wasn't the kind of person who would act on impulse. You choose. All right then. Wang Lan casually took the 3 spirit orbs in his hand and stood up. May I ask if the chief of the Ministry of National Defense is here? In the crowd, someone suddenly laughed softly. Interesting. I'm Izugwa, a member of the Military Committee of the Ministry of National Defense. Wang Lan sneaked a glance at Ming. Ming nodded discreetly. Wang Lan strode to Izugwa's side and stood upright. Heavenly Sword Bureau Intelligence Department Captain Wang Lan. I'm here to hand over the 3 Super S-level Takashi Hoshi skills that I seized from the 9-story pagoda. As he spoke, he held the 3 spirit orbs in his hand in front of Izugwa. Ha ha ha. Good boy. These are Super S-level Takashi Hoshi skills. Even if you keep them all, no one will say anything. Are you really willing to part with them? Takashi Hoshi skills don't matter much. Besides, I can't learn so many of them. If I hand them over to the chief, these things will be more valuable. All right, I'll accept them on behalf of the Ministry of National Defense. Izugwa did not decline and immediately took the spirit orbs. This scene made Dean Nangong feel as if a knife was being twisted in his heart. Wang Lan, these were seized from the 9-story pagoda. Even if you hand them over, you should... Nangong. Di Lao suddenly interrupted Nangong Meng. The 9-story pagoda belongs to the country. The academy also belongs to the country. Yes. Seeing this, Yurian also picked up the 3 spirit orbs and walked over to Izugwa. I'll also hand them over to the Ministry of National Defense. Ruoyun. This time, Yu Huailong could not sit still. What are you doing? Uncle Huailong, Ruoyun, is also a part of the Jade State. There's nothing wrong with handing them over to the country. At this moment, Yu Huailong had a lot to say. However, with so many pairs of eyes and ears present, how could he say anything in private? Yu Qing, aren't you going to say anything? Helpless, Yu Huailong could only suppress his voice and shout at the Lotus Emperor. There's nothing wrong with Ruoyun doing this. Izugwa smiled and took the 3 spirit orbs from Yurun. This time, in front of everyone, the 6 spirit orbs were handed over to the Ministry of National Defense. Looks like this trip was not in vain. There's an unexpected gain, Izugwa said mockingly. He nodded at Yuriyun and Wang Lan. Go back to your seats and continue talking. I don't think things are that simple. Yes. The 2 of them returned to their seats. After that, we obtained the rune inheritance of the Immortal Cloud sect in the main hall. However, out of the 10 runes, 9 were destroyed. Only 1 was intact. This rune recorded the Qi cultivation chapter of the Immortal Cloud mystic record. Wang Lan has already learned the Qi cultivation chapter and confirmed that this ancient Qi cultivation technique allows us to absorb the stellar power of heaven and earth into the star palace through breathing and circulating stellar power. This way, Takashi Hoshi can obtain a stable source of stellar power without having to rely on absorbing spirit orbs. What? As soon as he finished speaking, Nangong Meng, Yu Huailong, Ming, and more than 10 people from various forces stood up. This news exploded like a bolt from the blue, making everyone feel as if they were dreaming. Chapter 311. Compared to the shock of the others, Yu Huailong, who represented the imperial family, was terrified. How to absorb and utilize the natural star power that pervaded the world was a problem that had plagued the world for countless years. But in ancient times, there must have been a way. The ancient texts of the East had long mentioned the practice of breathing and Qi cultivation. The West also had records of meditating to gather magical power. But all of these precious treasures had been lost. As a result, there were only 2 ways for Takashi Hoshi to obtain star power: by absorbing soul orbs or by absorbing star power from cells. Soul orbs required money and resources, and absorbing star power from cells would overdraft one's life force. This was also the reason why the Takashi Hoshi clan was firmly at the top of the pyramid and why countless Takashi Hoshi clung to them. If a Takashi Hoshi without a clan wanted to obtain soul orbs or Takashi Hoshi techniques to improve themselves, they could only rely on the Takashi Hoshi clan. But once a Takashi Hoshi could no longer rely on soul orbs to improve their star power, the Takashi Hoshi clan would no longer be attractive to the lower-class Takashi Hoshi clan. The power of the Takashi Hoshi clan would quickly disintegrate until it fell apart. This was not the most fatal thing. While the Takashi Hoshi clan had a strong foundation, they also relied on this foundation to cultivate generations of outstanding disciples. Even if they were not talented, they could rely on soul orbs and Takashi Hoshi techniques to produce a genius. Outstanding juniors could bring immeasurable influence to the clan. But once this imbalance was broken, the gap between a genius from a commoner family and a disciple from the Takashi Hoshi clan would be narrowed. Then, it would no longer be an era where the Takashi Hoshi clan dominated the world, but an era where poor families produced many nobles. For the country, this was a good thing that would bring many talents to the country. It was a great thing that would only bring benefits and no harm. But for the Takashi Hoshi clan, this was an unprecedented calamity. They were almost pulled to the edge of a cliff and could be pushed off at any time. A terrifying thought flashed across Yu Huailong's mind. Kill the two of them. As long as he killed them, the ancient Qi refinement technique wouldn't be leaked. It would be worth it even if he was blasted to smithereens. However, this thought only flashed through his mind. Even if he had the strength of the peak of the Starsea realm, apart from Wang Lan and Yu Rian, who else was not at the Starsea realm? 90% of them were title battle pet warriors. Attack? If he moved a finger, he would probably be cremated on the spot. Immediately after, Wang Lan took out a large handful of soul orbs from his bag. When I was bored in the 9th-floor pagoda, I made a few hundred copies of the Immortal Cloud Profound Record. They are all here. Who wants to grab one? Wang Lan's actions almost made Yu Huailong spit out a mouthful of blood. You King. How bored are you? After a few hundred copies were printed, everyone present had a copy, and the spread of this cultivation technique could not be suppressed. Are you afraid that this cultivation technique won't be able to be popularized? Oh, interesting. Let me take a look, Zhuaming said as he took a soul orb. Instantly, the soul orb at his fingertips shattered. Astral power surged around Zhuaming. There was a series of crackling sounds. That was the sound of 12 meridians being pierced. This series of firecracker-like sounds made the corner of Wang Lan's mouth twitch. This was no longer a ferocious person. This was a ruthless person. Wang Lan had the system cheat. After adding a point, the blocked meridians could be cleared instantly. Yu Rian spent a few hours to clear 3 meridians. Every time she cleared a meridian, it was as difficult as constipation. As for Zhuaming, it was as if he had diarrhea. He actually cleared all 12 meridians in a few seconds. In Yu Riyun's words, every time he cleared a meridian, the meridians would be sore and swollen. This kind of pain was not tolerable by ordinary people. 1 meridian was already sore and unbearable. Zhuaming cleared more than 100 meridians in an instant. This pain stacked up, but Zhuaming did not even frown. He only frowned slightly and then opened his eyes. I can really absorb the astral power of heaven and earth. Although the absorption speed is very slow, unlike the soul orb, there is no obvious improvement. But a drop of water becomes a river. 7 days of cultivation is no less than the harvest of a low-grade soul orb. I've personally verified that it is effective. The rise of our jade state is in sight. Ha ha! Wang Lan, your contribution is unprecedented. After hearing Zhuaming's words, the group of bosses could not wait to pick up the soul orbs. One by one, they absorbed them. Even Yu Huailong could not help but reach out his hand. Wang Lan was not sure about the ratio of ruthless people to normal people outside, but he was sure that the dozens of people here were all ruthless people. Almost everyone who had absorbed the soul orb had their bodies crackling with energy in one go. It was as if the body was not their own. Did it not hurt? It is indeed effective. The problem that has plagued us for thousands of years, the ancient Qi cultivation method that has been lost for thousands of years, has actually reappeared. The ancient cultivation civilization has reappeared. Ha ha! Demons, I'll see how you can resist the human army whose strength has increased tremendously in 30 years. Ha ha! The big shots in the meeting room lost their composure after the ecstasy. The Qi cultivation method alone could completely replace the soul orb. Without the restriction of astral power, many talented Takashi Hoshi would not be delayed for 10 years. 10 years. How many 10 years were there in a person's life? Those who awakened through soul resonance might only be delayed for 3 years. But what about those who awakened on their own? Those who awakened at the age of 8 or 10 would have a world of difference in their future achievements. For example, if Duan Ziki had the Qi cultivation method back then, would he have become the poison sting of the demons? With his talent, even the demons thought that he was the perfect candidate for the poison sting. It was obvious how talented he was. Mu Xiaoyan and the others were no match for Duan Ziki. Like Jiang Xinyu, Mu Xiaoyan was a rich man who never lacked soul orbs. At the provincial martial arts competition, Mu Xiaoyan's strength was on par with Wang Mingling's. Everyone was excited for about half an hour before they gradually calmed down. The way he looked at Wang Lan was very pleasing to the eye. If it weren't for the fact that they were all grown men, some of them would have picked up Wang Lan and kissed him on the cheek. Happy events come one after another today. All right, we're all in important positions, so let's get this over with as soon as possible. Let's get down to business. Wang Lan, although you've survived, it's clear that you've fallen into a trap. You've always been meticulous. Do you have any suspects? At this point, Wang Lan's expression suddenly changed. Dean, send someone to bring Teacher Sun Li here. You have to send someone strong. What? You suspect Teacher Sun Li? She's a big suspect. I'll go personally. Nan Gongmeng stood up and left with a gloomy expression. After Nan Gongmeng left, Di Lao looked at Wang Lan and asked, "Tell me, do you have any evidence?" If we follow the flow of events, everything seems logical. However, if we follow the flow, we discover that everything has been arranged. The trap was set in Death Valley. Death Valley is uninhabited and a forbidden zone for life. Before the other party activated the spatial stone, they said, "Princess Yu, we've been waiting for you for a long time." From this, it can be seen that this trap was specially set for student Yurien. Here's the problem. First, the person who set up the trap already had the antidote, which I suspect is the vaccine. Second, they had to lure us to Death Valley. Only by going to Death Valley can we discover the pickaxe they left behind and suspect that someone stole the spatial stone. Only then can we fall into their trap. If we want to go to Death Valley, we have to overcome the ghost eye poison in Death Valley. Although I know how to edit the vaccine, I don't know how to make it. Therefore, we can only rely on developing an antidote for the ghost eye poison to fight poison with poison. However, there's a prerequisite for all of this, which is the Takashi Hoshi poison synthesizer. Without this thing, I can't make the antidote, and it's even more impossible for me to enter Death Valley with student Yurien. However, before I entered the pagoda, Teacher Sun Li gave me the Takashi Hoshi poison synthesizer that she carried with her. At that time, I thought that teacher was concerned about me and gave it to me in case of an emergency. Now, it seems that this is the necessary condition for me to enter Death Valley. After listening to Wang Lan's analysis, Di Lao silently nodded. He raised his hand and looked at his watch. After less than 10 minutes, Nan Gongmeng came back alone. Dean's son took poison and committed suicide. What? In the medical department's office. When I went there, she had already been dead for a while. The poison she was poisoned with should be the ghost eye poison. She was holding the poison sample bottle in her hand. When Wang Lan heard this, he immediately stood up and rushed out of the meeting room. When he arrived at the medical department, the entrance was already crowded with students. Although everyone was arguing fiercely, no one went in to destroy the scene. Junior brother, you're here. Why did Teacher Sun do this? Why did she suddenly? Junior brother, the vice dean said that we can't go in and destroy the scene. When Wang Lan arrived at the entrance, he was stopped by 2 seniors from the student council. I'm a special agent from the Heavenly Sword Bureau's operations department. I can inspect the scene. Wang Lan took out his ID. After the student council checked it, they still didn't believe him. However, after Wang Lan explained to them, they finally allowed Wang Lan to enter. The office was still the same as before. There were rows of bookshelves and samples that Sun Li didn't understand. Sun Li was lying on the table, as if she had fallen asleep. In his hand was a sample bottle with a label on it. Wang Lan reached out and touched Sun Li's neck. It was cold to the touch. She had indeed been dead for some time. Wang Lan took the bottle and poured out a drop of poison. After analyzing it, it was confirmed that it was indeed ghost eye poison. After helping Sun Li up, Wang Lan saw an envelope in the corner of her collar. Wang Lan slowly pulled out the envelope. Written on the envelope was Wang Lan's handwriting. Student Wang Lan, I can't say goodbye to you in person, so I can only use this lowly method to say my last words. Here, I would like to sincerely apologize to you. I'm sorry. You're the proudest student I've ever met in my entire life. I can die without regrets because I was able to teach you. I tried my best. I even argued with the dean, but I still couldn't stop you from entering the 9-story pagoda. I know that you're extremely smart. If you're still alive, You should have already guessed that I was the one who set up the 9-story pagoda, right? I'm sorry. I should have been the one to go in. But it's your fault for agreeing to team up with you, Ruyan. I know what you want me to tell you, and I know you want to ask me why. But forget it. This world is complicated. It's better not to tell you the reason. Let's just put an end to all of this. Don't pursue this any further. If you do, Jade State will be in chaos. I have 1,000 words to say, but I can only say 3 words. I'm sorry. Time is almost up. I have one last request. Please take care of Tong Tong for me. The contents of the letter were jumpy. It seemed to have been written in a hurry. The handwriting was also very messy. By the time Wang Lan finished reading the letter, the group of bigwigs had already arrived at the door. Chapter 312. Wang Lan was certain that Sun Li wasn't the only mastermind behind all of this. This was something that Wang Lan had already figured out back in the 9-story pagoda. Sun Li alone couldn't have pulled off such an ingenious plan. However, her death had cut off any possibility of Wang Lan continuing his investigation. Even if he did have a suspect, he wouldn't be able to find any evidence. Wang Lan had thought that he would hate Sun Li for her betrayal and deceit. However, even now, Wang Lan's heart was heavy and conflicted, but he didn't feel the slightest bit of resentment. Sun Li had set up a trap to kill Wang Lan and Yu Run, but at the same time, she had imparted everything she knew to Tang Weilin. Setting aside her knowledge of Takashi Hoshi's poison, her knowledge of the decomposition of all things alone was enough for Wang Lan to treat Sun Li as his teacher. One couldn't deny another's kindness just because of a single act of malice. At the same time, Sun Li's trap couldn't erase Wang Lan's respect for her. Perhaps she had no choice but to live in the underworld. If Sun Li didn't feel the slightest bit of pity for Tang Weilin, she could have used this opportunity to escape. With the power behind her, she could have hidden herself well. But instead, she chose to use death as an ellipsis. Even the most hateful people had their own pitiful sides. Teacher Sun Li committed suicide, but there's definitely someone behind her, Wang Lan said calmly as he watched the crowd rush into his office. Are there any other suspects aside from Sun Li? There's also the person behind Xiao Qing who might know something. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to sneak into the pagoda to assassinate Bai Ji. Leave this matter to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Izugwa said in a low voice. Elder D, the matter has come to an end. I plan to head to the Imperial capital this afternoon to report to the chief. Understood. Since the second princess is fine, we'll be taking our leave. Elder D, we hope that the Academy will pay more attention to the safety of its students, especially the second princess. Although this was a false alarm, there's bound to be a next time. Don't worry, Ning Wang. Something like this won't happen again, Nangong Meng replied grimly. That better be the case. Wang Lan was specially approved to take 3 days off. After receiving permission to leave, Wang Lan quickly called Jiang Xinyu. The two of them met again. This time, Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu had completely broken through that layer of window paper. Jiang Xinyu threw herself into Wang Lan's arms in front of everyone. Their relationship had been confirmed. Jiang Xinyu was not the kind of little girl who needed to be coaxed. She could adjust her emotions on her own. Therefore, when they met again, Jiang Xinyu's emotions had already parted. To put it in a more romantic way, as long as you're well, it's a sunny day. Are you done? Most of them have already come to an end. Although the experience was bizarre, it was more daunting than dangerous, and there were many benefits. Actually, since we were Takashi Hoshi, there's no need to make a fuss about this kind of thing. You might experience a lot more in the future. Because the first time made you so uneasy, you might get used to it after a few more times. Before he finished speaking, Wang Lan sucked in a breath of cold air from the pain. Jiang Xinyu pinched the soft flesh on his waist and even turned it around. How many more times do you plan to do it? Even if Takashi Hoshi are constantly dancing with danger, they wouldn't announce their death like you did, right? If the danger is less than 40%, it's called taking a risk. If it's more than 50%, it's called suicide. Have you ever heard of Takashi Hoshi sending themselves to death for no reason? That's an accident. Accidents can happen at any time. Xinyu, actually, I feel that the reason there is danger is because we are not strong enough. If we are strong enough, we can ignore any danger. All right, I obtained an ancient chi cultivation method inside. I will teach it to you. This is a cultivation method that extracts star power from heaven and earth. In a few days, it will be popularized. The country will do its best to promote this matter. I will leave it to you first. In the future, even without soul orbs, your strength will steadily increase. As he spoke, he used 2 fingers to point between Jiang Sinyu's eyebrows. In less than a minute, he completed the skill inheritance. Really? Jiang Sinyu's eyes shone with surprise as she asked. I have personally tested it. It is really effective. Wang Lan. Just as Wang Lan and Jiang Sinyu were strolling around the school, Yu Ruiyun's voice came from behind them. Yu Ruiyun, classmate. Hearing Wang Lan's response, Yu Ruiyun's expression froze. But in an instant, it became natural again. When they were in the 9-story pagoda, the 4 of them were already very close. Wang Lan always called her Ruiyun, but outside, it became Yu Ruiyun, classmate. Wang Lan, can I have a moment of your time? My uncle wants to see you. Sure. Jiang Sinyu was the first to agree on behalf of Wang Lan. Let's have dinner together tonight. Ruiyun? Okay. On the surface, Jiang Sinyu and Yu Ruiyun's relationship was better. After all, they were in the same dormitory. He followed Yu Ruiyun to the back of the school field. There was a big artificial lake. Around the lake, there was a green lawn, a cobblestone road, and a few charming ancient pavilions. Emperor Qing was in his 50s, but he looked like he was in his early 40s. He was slender and had a refined face. Emperor Qing put his hands behind his back and looked at the sparkling lake in front of him. In his eyes, there seemed to be sadness that could not be dissolved. Uncle, Wang Lan is here. Greetings, Emperor Qing. You can just call me Uncle, Emperor Qing said casually. Walk with me. Okay. In the blink of an eye, you have grown so big. Emperor Qing looked at Wang Lan and suddenly said with emotion, if your mother knew that you were so promising, she would be very happy. Uncle, what mission is my mother on? Or was her mission fake? Actually, she's already, Wang Lan asked hesitantly, although he did not dare to think about that possibility. However, this time, he almost died in the 9-story pagoda. His mother did not come, and there was no news at all. This made Wang Lan very uneasy. Don't think too much. Your mother is still alive. Emperor Qing smiled faintly and said with certainty. If it came from Emperor Qing's mouth, then it must be true. Emperor Qing either did not tell Wang Lan, or he did not want to lie to him. Then where is she? When will the mission end? I can't tell you where she is. This is a long-term mission. However, your mother has already gained a foothold. As for when she will come back, I don't know. Is that so? Thank you for this time. If not for you, Ruiyun would not have escaped this disaster. You don't have to thank me. We are supporting each other. She also saved my life. No one helped each other. Without her, I would not have been able to survive. I just want to thank you on behalf of myself. If Ruiyun is safe, Jade State will be safe. As he spoke, he took out a jade pendant from his arms and handed it to Wang Lan. This jade pendant is my keepsake. In the future, no matter what trouble you encounter, you can use it to find me. If you can't find me, you can find anyone in the Yu family. He dared not refuse a gift from an elder. Wang Lan took the jade pendant respectfully. By the way, I will teach you a Takashi Hoshi technique. Are you the fire attribute? Actually, I am of all attributes. Wang Lan replied in a low voice. It doesn't matter. Your mother used to use meteor fire rain very well. I will teach it to you. As soon as he finished speaking, Emperor Qing placed 2 fingers between Wang Lan's eyebrows. A stream of mind power entered Wang Lan's mind. In an instant, a huge amount of information flooded in. Takashi Hoshi technique discovered. Do you want to spend 1,000 skill points to learn it? Yes. As soon as he finished speaking, 1,000 skill points were deducted. A brand new Takashi Hoshi technique appeared on Wang Lan's skill page. Takashi Hoshi technique discovered. Do you want to spend 20,000 skill points to connect it? Yes. After the battle of the 9-story pagoda, Wang Lan's depleted skill points had been greatly replenished. Although he did not have much, he still had a surplus of 50,000 skill points. You are the best among the younger generation. This time, you brought back the chi cultivation method, which will push the power of the Jade State's Takashi Hoshi to another level. We are old. I'm afraid that we can't wait until the demons invade. The future of the Jade State depends on you. Thank you for your appreciation, Uncle. I'm afraid that I'm not talented enough to take on such a heavy responsibility. You don't have to be humble in front of such a thing. If you can't take on the responsibility, who can? Besides, even if you can't take on a responsibility, you still have to do it. It's not easy for the human civilization to be passed down to this day. Okay, I'll remember it. What do you think of Royan? Emperor Qing suddenly asked. You Royun's talent and strength are far above mine. I admire her very much. That's not what I meant. Do you think you can be with Royan? Wang Lan was embarrassed by this question. You are Yu Royun's elder. It's hard to imagine that you, the great Emperor Qing, would do such a thing. Wang Lan remained silent. What's wrong? Are you not satisfied with Royan? If there's anything you're not satisfied with, I'll ask her to change it. If there's anything you're satisfied with, should I change my profession? However, Wang Lan didn't dare to say this out loud. Uncle, I already have a girlfriend, I know. You have more than one girlfriend. It's not a big deal to have one more. F***CK. At this moment, the image of Emperor Qing in Wang Lan's heart began to collapse. Is this something that an uncle like you should say? Do you think you can hide your relationship with that female student from Cebu Gakuen in Jean City from my investigation? Ahem. Uncle, can we not talk about this? Sigh, your skin isn't thick enough. You can't be like this. Do you know what an outstanding person like you is in the eyes of those female Takashi Hoshi? Brother, Wang Lan blurted out without thinking. Ha! I didn't expect such an old joke to still be popular in your generation. To those female Takashi Hoshi, you're like a high-grade soul pearl. You're as attractive as a big diamond to ordinary women. However, Takashi Hoshi are more straightforward. They dare to love and hate, and they dare to take action. When necessary, they might force themselves on you. You're so shy and innocent, you'll be taken advantage of easily. To Takashi Hoshi, having 2 or 3 girlfriends is no big deal. As a man, you should be open-minded. Uncle, your words have a great impact on my worldview. May I know why? I hope you can date Ruyun, get married, and have children. Ruyun's identity is very special. She's the last descendant of a Yu family. She'll inherit the position of the head of the Yu family in the future, and so will her children. Because of this, she's been schemed against by many people. It's the same this time. Not only her, but also her children in the future. I hope you can protect her. You're the only one who can protect her. Of course, this is only my suggestion. I'm not forcing you. My girlfriend and I are childhood sweethearts. We have a good relationship. What about the one in Jean City? Ha ha ha. All right, I'll stop joking with you. Uncle, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Okay. Wang Lan bowed and excused herself. She turned around and disappeared in a flash. Chapter 313. Uncle, what did you say to him? Yu Royan came to Yu Qing's side and asked softly. Did I frighten him? You didn't? Otherwise, why did he run away in such a hurry? Have you comprehended the dragon and phoenix bringing prosperity? Yu Qing suddenly asked. Yes, Yu Ruyun muttered in her heart. But there should be no problem with her explanation, right? After absorbing Wang Lan's phoenix form star power, she obtained the opportunity to cultivate the complete Dragon Emperor form. I've experienced hundreds of fierce battles in my life, but I've only almost died 3 times. The first time was when I was a teenager. I was ambushed by hundreds of people. I fought for 3 days and 3 nights and almost died of exhaustion. The second time was 20 years ago. I heard that Wang Ling had learned the phoenix form and excitedly ran over to complete the Dragon Emperor form. Wang Ling chased me for 200 kilometers and almost killed me. I hoped that Wang Lan could date you, but this bastard actually wanted to renege on his promise? If I hadn't cultivated for the past 10 years, I would have slapped him to death. Uncle, Yu Ruoyan blushed, but her tone was calm and indifferent. He doesn't know about this. Don't mention it in the future. Oh, you didn't get him drunk, did you? At that time, I was on the 7th floor. Even if I wanted to, I needed wine. He fainted because of exhaustion. Okay, let's not talk about this. I'm not destined to have feelings. You shouldn't have scared him. I can ignore your matter. I'll stay in Shanghai for a short time. You can cultivate with me. Okay. After running far away, Wang Lan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Was it necessary? Why did you attack me just because I refused? Wang Lan ran away, not because he couldn't stand Emperor Qing's suggestion, but because Emperor Qing emitted a trace of killing intent when he refused for the second time. It was as if Emperor Qing's knife was on his neck and asked with a smile, "Are you touched? Think carefully." Although it was just a trace, it was still very terrifying. That was Emperor Qing, one of the strongest Takashi Hoshi in Jade State. Wang Lan did not dare to risk his life to test the Qing Emperor's self-restraint. Besides, a person who said that he could have a few girlfriends didn't have any self-restraint at all. In the evening, he went out for dinner with Jiang Xinyu and Yu Run. At the dinner table, the two women chatted happily. Yu Run even proposed to let Jiang Xinyu follow her to cultivate this month, and Emperor Qing would personally guide her. To Jiang Xinyu, this kind of opportunity was no different from a beggar suddenly receiving millions of gold coins. There was less than a month before Jiang Xinyu went abroad with the team. It was good to improve a little. When Wang Lan returned to the dormitory and pushed open the door, his face immediately darkened. The room was meticulously decorated, but it looked like a morning hall. A tablet computer was placed on the computer desk. In front of it was an incense burner with 3 F*King cigarettes. That was too much. Just when Wang Lan was furious and thinking about how to deal with the two bastards, there was a slight movement outside the door. Keep it down. Before Wang Lan comes back, take the things away quickly. If he sees it, he'll be furious. Who told you to skip class and go out to play? When we got the news, it was already dark. You talk as if you didn't skip class. What are you waiting for? Open the door. Be gentle. What if Wang Lan has already returned to the dormitory? Impossible. He was just having a meal with his girlfriend, Princess Yu. After the meal, they should have gone shopping or sang a song or something. The dormitory door was slowly pushed open and a head carefully poked in. He doesn't seem to be in. Go quickly. Take the things away. The two rushed into Wang Lan's room. When they opened the door, they saw a gloomy shadow standing in front of the computer desk, deep in thought. Wrong room. Sorry to disturb you. Jing turned around and was about to run away. Stop right there. A loud shout was heard. Wang Lan was already standing at the door. You two are really my good brothers. You even prepared the morning haul for me, but I don't think I need it anymore. It's not good to waste it like this. What do you think? Lan Zi, it's okay. It didn't cost much. It's just a waste. I'll clean it up for you. The great leader warned us to avoid waste. It's just right for you too. It had been 70 days since school started. Jing, who had persisted in playing games at night for 70 days, succeeded. Lying on the sofa, she groaned like a pig from time to time. Wang Lan, you're a little harsh. Harsh? Not bad. It's good that I didn't beat you to death. Wang Lan, what's wrong with you? Why did the school list you as a casualty? We can't find out. Even if we ask my dad, he won't tell me. Your dad, Director Ming, is my boss. If he won't tell you, do you think I'll tell you? Forget it. It's all confidential. Don't ask blindly. Okay, I've been tired for 10 days. Don't play games tonight. Let me have a good sleep. Do you think I can still play games? My whole body hurts. Sigh. Wang Lan, this can't be your real goal, right? You're too insidious. Do you want another massage? No. Guodong's skin is rough, and his flesh is thick. Please ravage him to your heart's content. I can't take it anymore. After closing the door, Wang Lan sat cross-legged on the bed quietly. Too many things had happened in the past 10 days. There were also too many things that he had not had time to sort out. He sank into his spiritual sea and clicked on the system. At this moment, he had 20,000 skill points left. He used to have 50,000 skill points, but after learning the S-grade Takashi Hoshi skill, Meteor Shower, and then combining it with the Earth Flaming Sea, his skill points had shrunk from 50,000 to 20,000. Meteor Shower was not a pure fire attribute Takashi Hoshi skill. It was a Takashi Hoshi skill that was a mix of fire and earth. Meteors made of earth and entwined in flames smashed into the ground. With the acceleration of falling from a high altitude, a basketball-sized meteor could cause damage in a radius of 3 meters. This was a type of Takashi Hoshi skill that could cause damage in a large-scale battlefield. Wang Lan had seen Yun use it more than once. It was very powerful. After combining it with the Earth Flaming Sea, the Earth Flaming Sea was originally an S-grade Takashi Hoshi skill, but it was directly upgraded to S+. What emerged from the Earth Flaming Sea was no longer flames but magma. Although Wang Lan estimated that using the skill would consume a terrifying amount of astral energy, and he might be exhausted after one use, this would be his ultimate move when he broke through to the Starsea realm in the future. At the thought of breaking through to the Starsea realm, Wang Lan suddenly remembered that he had just learned the only bronze Takashi Hoshi skill that Wang Lan had, the Immortal Cloud Mystic Records Chi Cultivation Chapter. Wang Lan had tried it before. The bronze Immortal Cloud Mystic Record gave him 1 experience point per minute. At this rate, relying on him to break through to the Starsea realm might take him a lifetime. Without any hesitation, he added 100 points to upgrade the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record to silver. As Wang Lan breathed, the absorption and conversion of natural astral energy became significantly faster. On the system page, although the rate of adding 5 points per minute was still very slow, it was much faster than the rate of adding 1 point per minute. Since he had enough skill points, Wang Lan added another 1,000 points to the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record. After upgrading to gold, the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record gave him 20 experience points per minute. 20 points per minute made Wang Lan feel that it was a little fast. He could clearly feel the natural energy of heaven and earth swarming into Wang Lan's mouth and nose before being absorbed and converted. 20 EXP per minute meant that he could earn 1,200 EXP per hour. 24 hours meant 28,000 experience points. Wang Lan was now at Nebula 7. If he needed 800,000 experience points to upgrade to Nebula 8, it would only take him 30 days. He could upgrade 1 level in a little more than a month. There were still 2 months left in the semester, so breaking through to the Starsea realm before his second year in college would not be difficult. Although it would cost 2 million to upgrade 1 level after reaching the Starsea realm, couldn't the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record also be upgraded after reaching the Starsea realm? At that time, even if it cost 50 points per minute, it would not be impossible for him to break through to the Starsea realm before his 4th-year internship. Wang Lan had already tested it. As long as he did not use the Takashi Hoshi skill, the Immortal Cloud Mystic Record's automatic operation would not be interrupted. How could he have the opportunity to use the Takashi Hoshi skill in school? Moreover, there were so many Takashi Hoshi toxins in the medical department's inventory waiting for him to farm. The speed of upgrading to the Starsea realm should be much faster than he expected. After a good night's sleep, he was full of energy the next day. When he woke up in the morning, the first thing he received was a text message from Jiang Xinyu. The Azure Emperor had agreed to guide Jiang Xinyu in her cultivation. For the next 20 days, she would turn off her phone and focus on cultivation. Wang Lan did not hesitate to support such a good thing. After sorting out his mood, Wang Lan once again threw himself into work. It was not studying, but working. In terms of studying, Wang Lan had obtained 8 credits from the teacher for this semester's subject after a month of hard work. Although Wang Lan had been awarded 800 credits by the academy after coming out of the 9-story pagoda, he felt that 8 credits were very little. However, one had to know that the highest credit for a course was 10, and 10 meant that it was an impeccable full score. Wang Lan had spent a lot of time developing the Takashi Hoshi vaccine and the Soul Progranade. It was not easy for him to get 8 credits. Teacher Sun Li's suicide was an unacceptable and heavy blow to the medical department. The medical department had almost fallen apart. Later, the Ministry of Education had sent an old dean of the National Defense Army to Shanghai Cebu Gakuen. Only then had the medical department been stabilized. This old dean was not an expert in Takashi Hoshi toxins, but his research on Takashi Hoshi was unparalleled. Compared to Sun Li, Vice Dean Han's prestige and status were superior. Because of Vice Dean Han's arrival, the medical department quickly got back on track. Many students even proposed to change their courses, hoping to take Takashi Hoshi as an elective. However, Wang Lan was not very interested in these things. Wang Lan was more interested in the more than 30,000 Takashi Hoshi vaccines in the warehouse. After returning to work, Wang Lan's life became extremely regular. In the morning, he would edit the Takashi Hoshi vaccine. In the afternoon, he would develop the Soul Pearl Grenade. Dean Nangong was gratified to see that Wang Lan had turned over a new leaf and volunteered to develop the Soul Pearl Grenade. The Takashi Hoshi vaccine was not urgent. The Soul Pearl Grenade was more important. Wang Lan nodded. Yes, you're right. Jiang Xinyu was going abroad next month. If he did not work harder, he would not be able to reap enough benefits. Unknowingly, more than 10 days had passed. Wang Lan had also successfully broken through to Nebula Level 8. His strength had truly entered the late Nebula level. Ring, ring, ring. The ringing of the phone in his pocket interrupted Wang Lan's thoughts. Wang Lan took out his phone. It was a call from Ming Yi. Uncle Ming. What? Okay, I'll be right there. Ming Yi requested for Wang Lan to report to the Heavenly Sword Bureau immediately. He even asked for formal attire. Without delay, he got up and rode the electric stove back to his 500-square-meter home in Phoenix Plaza. There, he changed into his military uniform and put on his military badge. Then, he rushed to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Chapter 314. Hello, Comrade Wang Lan. We meet again. General Yi Zugua was in Cheng Jinlong's office. Wang Lan pushed the door open, and Yi Zugua said with a smile, Hello, sir. Wang Lan saluted. Wang Lan, you submitted 6 S-Class Takashi Hoshi skills, recalled the ancient Qi cultivation technique for the Jade State, created the Takashi Hoshi vaccine, and created the Soul Grenade. After the military committee's discussion, Wang Lan will be promoted to Major and awarded the Azure Sky Glorious Sun Medal. You will be awarded 10 million Jade coins, the title of Academician of the Jade State Academy of Sciences, and the Outstanding Contribution Medal of the Jade State. Izuwa was a straightforward person. Without any hesitation, he stood up and blabbered on about all the rewards he had received. Cheng Jinlong looked as if he had seen a ghost when he heard all the rewards. Apart from being promoted to Major, he couldn't understand the rest of the rewards. Azure Sky Glorious Sun Medal? What was that? It was the most difficult medal to obtain in the military system, but it was also the highest honor. Only by setting up an unparalleled, miraculous achievement that could support a building on the verge of collapse and turn the tide on the verge of collapse could one obtain it. In the 70 years of peace after the war, only 3 people had obtained the Azure Sky Glorious Sun Medal. The only one who was still alive was Yin Emperor. Now, Yin Emperor had been missing for 8 years. Wang Lan was the only living person who had obtained the Azure Sky Glorious Sun Medal. Then what academician of the Academy of Sciences? Some world-class scientists didn't even get this title. Some Jade State scientists had even won the Nobel Prize, but they didn't have the title of academician. Apart from this, there was also the Outstanding Contribution Award and the World Peace Award. Are you kidding? His pretentiousness had gone all the way overseas. Even if the least important reward was the promotion to Major, who had ever seen an 18-year-old Major? Just how great of a contribution did he have to make to be valued by the higher-ups to be able to get so many accolades? Cheng Jinlong was so sour that his teeth were about to fall out. However, Wang Lan didn't care about the rewards. Congratulations to the host for being promoted to Major. The reward is 5,000 skill points. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a special sacrificial item. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the title of Scholar. The reward is 30,000 skill points. Congratulations to the host for winning the World Peace Prize. The reward is 500,000 experience points. A series of system prompts almost made Wang Lan confused. They were holding 4 or 5 boxes with rewards in their hands, and their eyes were empty. Wang Lan, come back to your senses. Don't be so happy. Chung Jinlong suddenly shouted in a deep voice. Oh, huh? Ha! Sword Dragon, he is still a young man. A young man should have the spirit of a young man. If he is as old as you say, I would suspect that he is a monster that has lived for hundreds of years. You must be joking, Chief. By the way, have you found out who's behind Teacher Sunli? You still call her teacher? She almost got you killed. After all, she taught me everything she knew in her life. She taught me real things. If it weren't for her, the Takashi Hoshi vaccine would not have been invented. Hatred is hatred. Kindness is kindness. My mother taught me, since I was young, to distinguish between kindness and hatred. Huh, that's not Wang Ling's style. I can only say that I have a guess as to who's behind Sunli, but I can't tell you who it is. I don't want you to do something stupid. Without irrefutable evidence, no one can act rashly against such a person with such a high position and extraordinary status. I understand, Wang Lan said in a low voice. Good, you're still in school. I shouldn't have interrupted your studies. But I'm about to take a flight, so I can only interrupt your class. Now that everything is fine, you can go back. Wang Lan, I'll get someone to give you a ride. No need, Chief. I rode here. Wang Lan didn't go back to school. He couldn't bring these things back to his dorm. It wasn't that he couldn't, but it was too annoying. Any one of these awards would go down in history. Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning for showing off in your dorm room? The other awards were fine, but the sacrificial item was even more inexplicable. If He Jing saw something strange, Wang Lan wouldn't be able to wrap his head around it, even if he had an IQ of 140. After returning to his dorm room, Wang Lan put away the pile of awards. Then, he closed the window and drew the curtains. Sacrificial items didn't require the actual metals to be sacrificed. Instead, he had to sacrifice the ones in the system. The actual metals would remain. He called up the system and opened the metal page. Before he knew it, Wang Lan's metal page was already filled with 7 or 8 metals. Only the azure sky sun metal shone with a colorful light. This metal was of a higher level than the blazing sun metal. He wondered what he could get from it. He focused his attention on the metal and clicked on sacrifice. Instantly, his vision blurred. Soon, the familiar merry-go-round appeared. The last time he saw this was more than half a year ago. It felt like yesterday. Demons, angels, viruses, transformers, dragons, gods, and all kinds of anime characters flashed before his eyes. Because he knew that the things he could exchange would be completely beneficial to him and wouldn't cause any hidden dangers, the sacrifice this time wasn't as scary as the last time. Even when he saw the zombie wave, he was still considering if he could exchange for a virgin virus antigen. The merry-go-round became slower and slower, and it gradually stopped. Huh, this Bumblebee isn't bad. I really need a scooter. Bumblebee, I can drive, fight, and be a pet. Not bad, not bad. But the merry-go-round didn't seem to hear Wang Lan's words. It suddenly crossed the Bumblebee sports car and stopped on top of a katana. Weapon? I'm F***king lacking a weapon? You're offering me a katana for such a high-level metal? Even if it's the Sky Cloud sword, it's still not enough. But the scene still froze. Boom! A huge amount of information rushed into Wang Lan's mind. In an instant, countless odd-shaped katanas flashed across Wang Lan's mind. In the end, an ordinary-looking katana stopped in Wang Lan's mind. This katana didn't have a handle. The whole body was like a long stick. The handle and scabbard had the same color and pattern. The katana was 3 meters long, and the handle was 30 centimeters long. It gave Wang Lan the feeling of a Mo Lan, with the aura of a gentleman. And when he saw this katana, Wang Lan's eyes suddenly lit up. The name of this katana was the Sword of Light, and it and its brothers had a unified name, Zanpakuto. This was a Zanpakuto, but a Zanpakuto that didn't exist in the world of Shinigami. After all, this was Wang Lan's Zanpakuto. Zanpakuto, according to each person's soul, derives different appearances, different abilities, and different real names. Only by calling the right real name can a Zanpakuto be unlocked. This requires patient communication with the Zanpakuto and mutual understanding. But Wang Lan didn't need this process because the real name of this Zanpakuto was the Sword of Light. Wang Lan opened his eyes fiercely, stretched out his hand, and a long stick suddenly appeared in his empty hand. It felt very comfortable, whether it was the length, weight, or feel. It was tailor-made for Wang Lan. Wang Lan slowly pulled out the Zanpakuto. The blade was pulled out a little, the scabbard disappeared a little, and as it was slowly pulled out, the scabbard quickly disappeared until it was completely gone. The blade was like autumn water, and the blade was like stars. He gently stretched out his finger and flicked it slightly, and the body made a crisp sound of a dragon. The craftsmanship of the blade has probably reached the extreme of cold weapons. Even the Dragon Spring Sword Pavilion can't guarantee that they can make a treasure blade of the same quality. But this is just the disguise of the Zanpakuto. The disguise is the pinnacle of Shinigami, and the Zanpakuto is worthy of its reputation. Because this katana was straight and the blade was only 2 fingers wide, it could be used as a sword or a saber, so it was easy to use both. Wang Lan held the blade with both hands. His expression was solemn, and his spiritual power concentrated on the blade in his hand. Release, Sword of Light. Almost at the moment Wang Lan's voice fell, the blade in his hand suddenly shattered, and the shattered blade turned into stars in the sky. The stars converged, and a dazzling white light shone, and a sword completely composed of light appeared in Wang Lan's hand. The sword in his hand was both a sword and light. In addition to having all the functions of a sword, the light can extend, change shape, and slash out light blades, and slash out light rain. The Sword of Light was a sword that could cut through the darkness. But after Shirkai, the Sword of Light would consume star power. After all, people are the foundation of all power. Removing Shirkai, the light dissipated, and the Sword of Light returned to the appearance of the previous katana. Even when Wang Lan had the idea of putting away the blade, the scabbard instantly returned to the blade. This blade, like the Phoenix constellation's Saint Robe, can be stored in the Star Palace. Of course, the Star Palace is not its home. Normally, the Zanpakuto should be stored in the soul. But how should I put it if you don't open the Star Palace and suddenly pull out such a strange blade? It would be hard to explain. The Saint Robe flew out from the Star Palace. But what about the Zanpakuto? This trip to the Heavenly Sword Bureau, he got 30 to 40,000 skill points, plus the skill points from developing the Takashi Hoshi poison vaccine. 50,000 can be used to upgrade his skills. In the past, he felt that after reaching the gold level, ordinary skill upgrades were meaningless. In fact, even among the Takashi Hoshi skills, some of the upgrades were meaningless. Now that his strength was different, Wang Lan's fighting style began to gradually change. In the past, he was too weak, so Takashi Hoshi's skills were passive. But now, Wang Lan preferred to be reckless. For example, Nebula Sword Dance was now gold level 3. But the number of afterimages in the gold and silver level skills increased, and the technique of using the air step was added. But now, Wang Lan already had Phantom Footprints. The gold-ranked Phantom Footprints allowed her to turn back 6 times in an instant, leaving no blind spots. And this was teleportation without a track. It was better than afterimages. And the air step ability has been replaced by the light and light displacement ability. Now, with the Zanpakuto, even the sword energy was replaced. Wang Lan felt that the Nebula Sword Dance's upgrade should stop here. But the Flame Blade was different. The Flame Blade had to be upgraded to at least after Wang Lan learned the 5 Extreme Fire Arts. Maybe after he learned the 5 Extreme Fire Arts, using the 5 special flames on the Flame Blade would have unexpected benefits. Although Wang Lan used a Crescent Moon arrow frequently, she was still able to use it. But he already had a feeling that the new Moon arrow would be replaced by the Flame Blade soon. The Flame Blade had begun to have long-range attack ability. After Platinum level, the range would not be below the new Moon arrow. As for the Thunder Snake, Wang Lan felt that there was still a lot of room for improvement. He vaguely felt that the Thunder Snake was related to another field, elemental transformation. For things like omniscient manifestation, Wang Lan planned to add points to it for the time being. He would learn it first, and it would not be too late to add points to it when he needed it in the future. When his strength was upgraded to the Return to Origin realm, it became the old 3-star power level, speed, strength. In game terms, it was evasion, defense, and output. Chapter 315. Hello, Uncle Ming. Is that so? Okay. I'll be right there. It was another weekend. Wang Lan was planning to go to the medical department to farm Takashi Hoshi's poison to earn experience and skill points. Just as he walked out of the dormitory, he received a call from Ming Yi. The Heavenly Sword Bureau had another difficult case and wanted Wang Lan's help. Wang Lan rode his motorcycle to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Ming Yi had just finished a case meeting. When he saw Wang Lan, he smiled awkwardly. Wang Lan, your job is to study. To be honest, I wouldn't have called you if I wasn't short on manpower. It's okay. I'm resting anyway. When I came here, I saw you guys coming and going in a hurry. Have you been busy recently? Weren't you there that day? The culprit who framed you, the source of so many space stones, etc. Any investigation would require a lot of manpower and resources. Although Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau has a high standard, Shanghai is only so big. Its manpower is definitely not comparable to a province. Especially this kind of work, it depends on a number of people. Ming Yi complained to Wang Lan. Wang Lan could only smile awkwardly. Uncle Ming, what's the case that's making you so troubled? Recently, there have been many cases of mysterious people being killed. Mysterious people? Wang Lan looked at him in surprise. He understood that Ming Yi should not have called them that. As long as they were from the Jade State, they must have an identity. As a professional intelligence agency of the Jade State, the Heavenly Sword Bureau could not even find out who they were. Was this appropriate? Ming Yi raised his hand to turn on the projector on the wall and turn off the lights. On the projector, pictures appeared one after another. This is the night of November 7th. At the entrance of the Red Dust Bar, 2 men were assassinated by a mysterious person when they walked out of the bar. The Heavenly Sword Bureau immediately investigated. Strangely, the 2 men who were killed did not have any information about their identities. Even if their fingerprints, appearance, and DNA were recorded into the Cloud C system, they did not match their identities. These 2 people seemed to have appeared out of thin air. There was no information about their birth, schooling, or work. A blank person? Right? Isn't there a CCTV at the entrance of the bar? The camera didn't capture the killer's face? I did, but it's useless. The scene changed to a photo of the murderer that had been taken. When Wang Lan saw the photo for the first time, he felt a little uncomfortable. F***CK, Deadpool. What? Do you know him? Ming Yi asked doubtfully. No, he's dressed like an anime character I've seen before. He's wearing red tights and has 2 swords on his back. But that's obviously not the case. He really doesn't have to worry about others being caught on camera. After that day, another person was killed in the alley. This time, there were no witnesses or cameras, but there was also no information about the identity of the person who was killed. Until today, December 10th, 13 people had been killed, and none of them had any information about their identities. This might be the reason why the murderer killed them. Could they be from a secret organization? And then someone went after the members of the organization? That's not right. If it was a secret organization, they would also need to cover their identities on the surface. Without any information about their identities, it means that someone has been hiding them since they were born. Or someone can tamper with the Sea of Cloud system. I'll need you to investigate this. I'll arrange for capable team members for you. As he spoke, he picked up the phone. Ask the members of Independent Group S to come to my office. Soon, 4 young men and women knocked on Ming Yi's office. 2 men and 2 women, very balanced. All 4 of them were wearing military uniforms and looked very energetic. The military uniform of the Heavenly Sword Bureau was the most handsome of all the military uniforms that Wang Lan had ever seen. It was not like the military uniforms of the military, which had a top and pants with a belt in the middle. The jacket of the men's military uniform was mainly a long windbreaker, with short sleeves for summer, long sleeves for autumn, and an inner jacket for winter. The women's jacket was short with shorts or a short skirt, and the winter jacket was a long coat. Therefore, even if one's looks were average, This military uniform would automatically add 30 points to one's looks. Moreover, the 4 people in front of him were all good-looking. Of the 2 men, one was masculine and the other handsome. Although the 2 women's looks and temperaments were very different, they were still worthy of being called beauties. On the other hand, Wang Lan's ordinary casual clothes seemed a little low in front of the 4 of them. Let me introduce you. This is Comrade Wang Lan, who is subordinate to our operations division. This is the temporary captain of Independent Group S, Yang Yang, and this is Liu Yifeng. The tall female comrade is Zhang Xiao, and the long-haired female comrade is Bai Su. Bai Su is a perception-type Takashi Hoshi, and her perception is extraordinary. Zhang Xiao's talent is air manipulation. Liu Yifeng is a wind-type Takashi Hoshi, and has mastered 2 types of A-class Takashi Hoshi techniques. Yang Yang is a metal-type Takashi Hoshi, and his close combat skills are top-notch. They have just completed their training as an independent group and have not had the time to be put to use. Wang Lan, what do you think of them being your temporary team members? It's very balanced, and they complement each other very well. It's just that I'm only a major. Wang Lan smiled bitterly. Of the 4 people in front of him, 1 was a lieutenant colonel, and 3 were majors. In terms of seniority and military rank, Wang Lan was the younger one. What's the problem? The Heavenly Sword Bureau only looks at ability, not military rank or seniority. Besides, with your achievements, if you had not joined the Heavenly Sword Bureau for such a short time, you could have been promoted to general. Listen up, you 4. From now on, Wang Lan is your temporary captain. Don't be fooled by Wang Lan's young age. He has killed at least 5 high-level demon spy teams. He has killed 6 or 7 high-level demon spies with his own hands. From now on, the 4 of you must fully obey Wang Lan's orders and assist Wang Lan in investigating the mysterious man's murder. Yes, sir. Well, you can leave now. The 4 of them saluted and left. As they walked out of the office, the 4 of them kept exchanging glances. They had been training together for half a year and were very familiar with each other. They could see some suspicion in each other's eyes. The 4 of them were selected from 30 elite trainees. Which one of them was not talented and had a bright future? The independent team was a special team of Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau. Although there were only 4 people in the team, they carried out the highest level missions of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. There were only 7 independent teams in the entire Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau, and their independent team was names. This meant that the Heavenly Sword Bureau expected them to be a super team. The first leader of the super team was a teenager who looked like he was only 17 or 18 years old. Even if this teenager was already a major, he did not seem reliable. Old Yang, the case we are investigating seems to be a technical one. It has nothing to do with strength, right? Liu Yifeng asked softly outside the office, leaning against a stone pillar. Just say it. Don't beat around the bush. He's a major at such a young age. He's definitely a genius. He's at least at the peak of Nebula or the early stage of Galaxy. But he's still young and doesn't have much experience. Didn't they say that 4 or 5 demon spy group fell into Captain Wang's hands? Bai Su asked softly, "You really believe that? This kind of genius has a family background and resources that we can only envy. I don't find it strange to follow him to get some credit and then pin it on him," Zhang Xiao said with some disdain as he crossed his arms. "You guys keep those words to yourself. Think about it. A major before the age of 20 in the entire military. No, in the entire Department of National Defense. How many are there? Such a person, no matter how good his family background is or how high his status is, he must have some skills under him. In the Heavenly Sword Bureau, the system is different from other places. No matter how high his rank is in other places, it will all be reset and upgraded here. In other words, Captain Wang's major rank was promoted in the Bureau. But I've never heard of him before. He might have come out of nowhere. No matter what, in terms of rank, we are higher. In terms of position, he is the captain. Even if it's temporary, I don't want to hear any different opinions while he is leading. Not even behind his back. We are soldiers. We can only obey, obey, and obey again. What if his orders are obviously wrong? We can appeal to the public after the fact, but his orders must be carried out unconditionally. This is basic knowledge. Do you need me to teach you? Obviously, Yang Yang had absolute prestige in the four-man team. So when he spoke, Liu Yifeng and Zhang Xiao shut up. Why are you guys here? Captain, 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 from this moment on, we are your team members. We can't disband without your orders. Is that so? Okay, you guys go back and change into casual clothes. Gather at the door in 20 minutes. By the way, do you all have cars? Every independent operation team is equipped with 2 cars to facilitate our mission. Is that so? Then take me to the car first. I came here on a donkey. It's inconvenient to move without a car. In the open-air parking lot, a domineering off-road vehicle and a low-key business car were parked in the S parking lot. The cars were brand new. Wang looked at the schedule and saw that they had less than 200 kilometers. Wang Lan patted the off-road vehicle and was very satisfied. This was the kind of car a man should drive. You guys go change into casual clothes first. I'll wait for you here. Sitting in the car, Wang Lan took out his phone and looked at the details of the case. In his mind, there were 2 notifications that showed that 2 missions were in progress. One was Senior Ma Chuchu's revenge mission. The first mission that Cebu Gakuen accepted in Shanghai had not been completed yet. The other was the mission that he had just accepted. It was to investigate the mystery of the murder of this group of mysterious people and find the murderer. The Heavenly Sword Bureau's original plan was to trace the identity of these people, hoping to obtain the cause of their death and the reason why the murderer killed them. However, due to the frequent incidents in Shanghai, the progress of the investigation was intermittent. It had been more than 20 days and there was no progress. However, the murderer did not stop killing. More than a dozen people died, just like that. Soon, the 4 of them came to Wang Lan's side again. After changing out of their military uniforms, the 4 of them did not look as serious as before. Instead, they looked more youthful and energetic. This was more like it. It was not an important occasion to meet important people. Why did they have to dress so formally? They were a group of people in their early 20s or 30s, but they had to dress like they were in their 40s. Captain, get in the car. Captain, let me drive. I have an A-class military license. Huh? You don't trust my driving skills? Comrade Old Yang, prejudice and arrogance are not good. I'm not bragging about my driving skills, but your distrust is completely correct. Pfft. Baisu suddenly choked and coughed violently. I'm just livening up the atmosphere. Do you have to go so far? However, other than Baisu, the other 3 were expressionless and emotionless. Captain, where should we investigate first? Phoenix Square. Phoenix Square? I don't remember there being a crime scene there. It's almost 12. Aren't you hungry? We'll investigate after dinner. Chapter 316. It was necessary to build a good relationship with the team members for the first time. Even if it was just a temporary team, they still had to eat under the same system in the future. Even for Wang Lan, it was fine for her to investigate on her own, but this was society. Wang Lan chose a barbecue restaurant. This barbecue restaurant's main style was the original taste, no extra seasoning, allowing customers to eat the original taste of the meat. It had been open for less than half a year, but its reputation was good. Out of the 4 of them, 10 of them were ordered. They chatted casually during the meal, and the 5 people officially began to get familiar with each other. The 4 people's impression of Wang Lan changed very quickly. They originally thought that Wang Lan must have an extraordinary background since he was promoted to major at such a young age. Most of these people with extraordinary backgrounds had a common problem. It was arrogance. Even if they pretended to be very approachable on the surface, they would occasionally show an arrogant expression and words. However, they didn't see this in Wang Lan. Wang Lan gave the 2 men the impression that he was easy to get along with, and his tone wasn't aggressive at all. The 2 girls felt warm. After all, girls were more sensitive in this aspect. After the meal, Wang Lan began to check out each crime scene. Yang Yang had been in touch with this case before, but he didn't know much. Referring to the information, he barely managed to restore the scene. The manager of the bar also said that the 2 people were here for the first time, so they seemed very restrained. They just sat at the bar and watched silently. They didn't strike up a conversation with the girls. Is he so sure that these two are here for the first time? Wang Lan asked. This bar is a quiet bar. The people who come here to drink are all elites. The whole bar's environment is relatively quiet, and they come here to relax. Usually, those who come to have fun go to those P***SSY bars. There's a dance floor and big white legs. Therefore, most of the people who come to the bar are acquaintances. Even if the manager doesn't know them, he recognizes their faces. Those two are very restrained. The manager said that there's a high chance that they rarely or never come to such an occasion. The identity of a victim is unknown. The identity of a murderer is unknown. The motive of the murder is unknown. There's no way to start this case. Let's go to the next place. In one afternoon, they went to 5 places. All of them were the same as the first place. There was no information. There was no ID card, no cell phone, and no clues that could be used to trace his identity. No wonder the brothers in the intelligence department have such a headache. It's like a hedgehog that's curled into a ball. There's no place to strike. Baisu, what did you say? Wang Lan suddenly raised his head and asked. No place to strike. No, what does it look like? A hedgehog curled into a ball. Turn into a ball. Wang Lan quickly took out his phone and opened the map. If we change our direction, this is the Qinghai district. All the places where the cases happened are concentrated within the Eastwood town area. Don't you feel strange? Why did this group of people with no identities appear? We have perfect auxiliary equipment and can use all the resources in Shanghai to investigate their identities. Even so, we can't find out who they are. How did the murderer find them so accurately? One had to know that it was too easy for someone without any identity to hide. It would be too easy to leave. As long as they hid in a certain place, the murderer would not be able to track them unless the murderer kept watching them. However, there is only one murderer. It is impossible for him to target many people at the same time. Maybe there's more than one murderer? If there's more than one murderer, there's no need for the murderer to kill them one by one. To keep an eye on them, he would need at least double the number of people. The murderer could kill several people at the same time. Could it be that there's someone secretly watching them and there's only one murderer? Classmate Xiao, I'm here. This guy even knows how to hide his intelligence. This formulaic answer was very similar to the most ordinary AI intelligence. Go through all the surveillance cameras of the crime scene and find out who was watching the victim or following the victim to the crime scene before the crime happened. Okay, Captain, is this your internet genie? Yes, I was very interested in intelligent robots when I was in high school, so I wrote an intelligent code to help me deal with some tedious operations. It's pretty good. It's not worse than the artificial intelligence on the market. Louis Feng gave a fair evaluation. Xiao AI deliberately hid this. If he went all out, everything in the world except for ice and snow would be his little brother. Just analyzing the video data collected by the Heavenly Sword Bureau? That's impossible. Xiao AI definitely hacked into all the surveillance systems in the entire area to analyze and investigate. While Xiao AI was monitoring all the surveillance systems, Wang Lan had already circled the area where the victims were killed on the map. On the map, there was an arc-shaped trajectory. Captain, do you think there's a pattern to this trajectory? Baisu looked at the trajectory map that Wang Lan had finished marking and asked, I'm trying my luck now. Although it said that solving a case can't rely on luck, in a situation where there are no clues at all, I can only try my luck. Beep, beep, beep. Wang Lan, the large data search has been completed. There's no person that fits the criteria you listed. Do you want to update the search criteria? The last sentence was pure bullsh**. With Xiao AI's intelligence level, it was impossible that he didn't know what Wang Lan was looking for. He had definitely searched through all the possibilities. Since there was no one, there was really no one. Ring. Suddenly, Wang Lan's phone rang. Hello, Captain? What? I'll be right there. Wang Lan hung up the phone, and his face instantly darkened. There's another murder at the east gate of Dongming Hospital. 2 people were killed on the street by a masked killer in red. We'll be there immediately. With a roar, he turned into a ferocious beast and charged into the street. When they arrived at the scene, the superintendent's guards were already there to maintain order. There was also a group of civilians outside the cordon to watch the show. Wang Lan and the others had to show their IDs before they were allowed to enter. Captain Liu, the people from the Heavenly Sword Bureau are here. A police officer whispered to a police officer. Detective Liu hurriedly stood up and walked over to Wang Lan and the others. You guys came pretty quickly. It's the same as the previous few times. There were many witnesses, but the murderer was masked and no one knew where he came from. So, even if there were witnesses and cameras, he didn't hold back. These two people happened to walk to the entrance of the hospital when a man in a tight red suit suddenly appeared and killed one of them with 2 weapons. The other seemed to be about to use Takashi Hoshi, but was beheaded before he could. Captain Liu, is there still no identification information? Wang Lan asked in a low voice. No, there's no such person according to the facial recognition system. Our facial recognition system is connected to the cloud center and can analyze 1 million people per second. They don't have phones, IDs, money, or anything to prove their identities. Wang Lan scanned the scene. It was brutal and bloody. The first person Detective Liu mentioned was beheaded at the waist. His lower body was separated from his upper body by at least 2 meters, and his intestines and organs spilled all over the ground. The second person was decapitated, and his blood spilled like an ink painting. Have you traced them in the opposite direction? We can only trace a 1-kilometer route. They seem to have deliberately avoided the surveillance of the cameras, so we can't trace them any further. Are these fellows stupid or what? They know that someone is hunting them, so why are they still running around? Yang spat. Even if they're stubborn, they should at least leave us some clues. Wang Lan couldn't do anything when the identities of the victims and the murderers were a mystery. There was no such person in the entire Jade State. Where could they find his identity, his connections, and the next target of the murderers? Ring. Detective Liu's phone suddenly rang. Hello. What? Where are you? Okay. Major Wang, 3 kilometers to the east. Someone reported that the murderers are hunting 5 Takashi Hoshi again. Let's go. As soon as Wang Lan finished speaking, she soared into the sky. Liu Yifeng saw Wang Lan fly into the sky and disappear in the blink of an eye, so he quickly jumped into the sky as well. Both of them had Takashi Hoshi flying skills, so a distance of 3 kilometers wasn't far, but it wasn't close either. It would take at least 3 to 5 minutes to fly that distance. Looking down from above, they quickly found the source of the commotion. In the alley under their feet, there was a crowd of onlookers. Wang Lan still couldn't understand why these people liked to watch the commotion so much. Moreover, they never cared about whether they should watch the commotion or whether it was dangerous. How dare they watch the killing of Takashi Hoshi? They dared to kill in a big city, so they didn't care about accidentally killing a few civilians, right? Wang Lan landed. Everyone, go back to your homes. Don't come near. By the time the police were called, it was probably already over. When Wang Lan arrived, there was nothing left except for the scene of a massacre. There were 6 corpses in the alley, all of them fresh from the oven. Only the blood sprayed on the wall was still warm. Wang Lan walked over the blood and carefully observed the corpses. They had all been killed by knives and swords, so it was obvious that the murderer was an expert with knives and swords. From the surveillance video that Detective Liu had seen, it could also be seen that the murderer was not only skilled with knives and was as fast as lightning, but also had a talent for invisibility. Because the first person who had been cut in half didn't even realize it until he died. Of the 5 people in front of him, except for the one who was the furthest away who didn't react, the rest were all running or twisting. But even if they had realized that death was coming, they were killed without being able to resist. Yifeng, go and ask around if there are any witnesses. Ask them about the situation. Yes. 6 corpses. 1 was cut in half at the waist, 2 were decapitated, 1 had his heart, 1 had his throat, and 1 had his head cut in half. Although the scene was a disgusting mess, Wang Lan still endured the nausea and observed carefully. The cuts were neat, especially the one that had been cut in the head. Either the murderer was an expert with a wind attribute, or the other party's knife was very sharp. Among the 6 people, 5 of them were wearing the same clothes as the people who had been killed earlier. Only one young man didn't look like he was cut off from the world. Wang Lan tried to look for his belongings. Suddenly, he was pleasantly surprised. There really was a phone in the man's arms. As long as there was a phone, it meant that his identity could be traced. Chapter 317. Captain! Captain! Yang and the other two rushed over. You guys came at the right time. Find out who this phone belongs to. Captain, I'm back. Liu Yifeng ran back, sweating profusely. I asked 10 witnesses. They all came out after hearing the loud noise. When they saw a masked man in a red tights holding 2 knives and slashing at the 6 people. The 2 knives were very sharp and very fast. They said that the 6 people were all dead in less than 5 seconds. Then the masked man went into the wall and disappeared. Went into the wall? Earth elemental magic? Captain, we found the identity. His name is Duanmu Jing. He's a branch of the Duanmu family. He just graduated last year. The Duanmu family? Is the murderer targeting the Duanmu family? There were no useful clues left at the scene. The only clue should be Duanmu Jing's phone. The sky gradually darkened. Wang Lan and the 4-man team went to the superintendent's office. Using the superintendent's resources to solve cases was the Heavenly Sword Bureau's usual routine. After sorting out the clues, they could confirm that the murderer had a clear motive for killing people. Every time he attacked, he killed the same kind of people. No identity, no experience, and they were all between 25 and 35 years old. It was hard to imagine how a person could hide their identity from birth until now. This could happen in remote mountain villages. Some people didn't apply for an ID in their entire lives. But in big cities, it was almost impossible to move around without an ID, which wouldn't need an ID for basic necessities. The only thing they gained this time was a phone. They found a phone number of one of the victims. After sorting out the clues, Wang Lan's temporary office was knocked on. Major Wang, the Duanmu family is here. Okay, tell him to wait a moment. Wang Lan sorted out the information in front of him and walked out of the room with the 4 people. Speaking of which, the 4 people's cheeks were a little hot at this moment, because from the moment they received the case until now, the 4 of them had been accompanying him the whole time. They didn't have any constructive suggestions or major discoveries. When Wang Lan asked for their opinions, they were at their wits' end. After all, the identity of the deceased was unknown, and the identity of the murderer was unknown. For someone like the deceased, who had no identity, it was even more unknown. Even Duanmu Jing, who was the only one who knew his identity, might not be able to make any connections. Currently, there was no evidence to prove that Duanmu Jing was related to the victims. There was an elderly couple in the interrogation room. Although the 2 of them were close to 60 years old, they maintained themselves very well. Although their expressions were heavy and their faces were pale. Who is Duanmu Jing to you? He's my son. The old lady hurriedly replied, Officer, my son. He was really killed by a murderer? He was fine yesterday. Do you know why he appeared in the alley of Hojo village? I don't know. Today, he said that he was going to look for a friend. He left for less than half a day. I didn't expect. As she spoke, she covered her face and sobbed. Officer, is my son dead or not? Why were they killed? The middle-aged man asked gloomily. You are Duanmu Jing's father? Yes. Name? Duanmu Qi. Age? 60. Occupation? Takashi Hoshi, late nebulous stage. He is now the leader of a small team in the Duanmu reclamation team. He went home to rest last month because he had a break. Do you know these people? Wang Lan placed the restored photos in front of Duanmu Qi. Duanmu Qi took them and looked at them one by one. After a long time, he shook his head. I don't know them. Who are they? My son's murderer? No, they're the people who were killed together with your son. None of them have any identity information. They are not missing persons or fake identities. They have no identity since birth. They are mysterious people who have no information about them. We suspect that they are from the same organization, and Duanmu Jing is with them. Impossible, Duanmu Qi said firmly. If my son had any organization, it would be the Duanmu family. Although my family is a branch of the Duanmu family, we don't have to worry about food and clothing in the family. It is impossible for us to betray the family and get involved with some groundless organization. Moreover, my son is not like me. He graduated from Cebu Gakuen in Gold City. He is already at the mid-stage of the galaxy realm, so the family values him very much. It is only a matter of time before he breaks through to the Starseed realm. The family will not mistreat him. There is no need for him to join any organization. Galaxy realm? Wang Lan's pupils shrank. A galaxy realm cultivator was killed before he could even resist? Officer, my son is a good kid. He is very warm-hearted, and the people around him agree with him very much. Maybe he heard the commotion and rushed over to take a look, but he did not want to be implicated. You have to catch the murderer as soon as possible and give my son justice, the old woman said, sobbing. Wang Lan patiently recorded the statements of the two old people and did not stop until 8 or 9 o'clock. The superintendent ordered takeout for Wang Lan and the other 4. He knew that they were Takashi Hoshi and had a big appetite, so he ordered 3 servings for each of them. It seemed that the misunderstanding that Takashi Hoshi were all foodies would not be resolved in a short time. The reason why Takashi Hoshi had a big appetite was because they had to absorb the star power in their cells, which led to severe malnutrition. However, Wang Lan and the others never lacked soul orbs, so their appetite was maintained at a normal level. Of course, it was not a problem for the 5 of them to eat 10 servings, let alone 3 servings. Anyway, Takashi Hoshi did not have to worry about their bodies going out of shape. If they became fat one day, they could absorb some energy from their cells and slim down in 3 days. It seems that Duanmu Jing really has nothing to do with those people and was killed by the murderer. There is nothing suspicious about Duanmu Jing's movements. He did set off alone this afternoon. He even went to the mall for a stroll and drank coffee. He went to the ancient street at dusk and was killed in the back alley. He did not hide his whereabouts at all, nor did he deliberately avoid surveillance. Late at night, Wang Lan's team concluded after studying the clues. It's not easy to find a clue, but it's still useless. Damn it, what kind of people are these? In my opinion, if they have a grudge, let them solve it themselves. Anyway, unregistered people are not citizens of Jade State. Let's just treat it as a dogfight and let them die. Zhang Xiao, don't be angry. Even if they don't have a household register, we have to take responsibility for the violence that happened in Jade State, Yang Yang said in a low voice. Okay, it's late. Go back and rest. We'll continue the investigation tomorrow. The superintendent has arranged a dormitory for you. If you need anything, just tell the superintendent. All expenses will be reimbursed. Captain, you're awesome. Captain, we're going to rest. You should rest early too. Although you're still young, you can't make a habit to stay up late. Okay, I'm going to rest too. Lying in bed, Wang Lan couldn't fall asleep. Duanmu Jing and those mysterious people kept flashing through his mind. As for the friends that Duanmu Jing had found, Duanmu Jing's parents didn't know. They could only guess that they were partners that Duanmu Jing had met during a mission. But Wang Lan couldn't find any Takashi Hoshi in the vicinity of the old street. As for the murderer and the victims, they were like a cloud of fog that made people unable to figure out. Even if the murderer's identity was unknown, so many victims seemed to have appeared out of thin air. What kind of organization was this? Even if they were demon spies, they still knew how to disguise themselves. If these people weren't really human, Wang Lan would think that they were demons that had invaded the human world. As the saying goes, what one thinks in the day, one dreams at night. But Wang Lan's dream was bizarre. He dreamt that he had become an emperor, then a spy, and then an assassin. Anyway, it didn't make any sense. By the time Wang Lan woke up, he couldn't remember what he had dreamed of. Anyway, it was an ancient setting filled with intrigue, hatred, and killing. The only thing that made Wang Lan a little clearer was the Death Soldiers. He had been seriously injured by the assassination, but his subordinates couldn't find out anything about the Death Soldiers. The Death Soldiers were orphans and beggars that had been found since childhood. After more than 10 years of training, even they didn't know who they were. He stood up and got dressed. Suddenly, Wang Lan paused. Death Soldiers? Death Soldiers. This keyword was like a key that opened up Wang Lan's tangled knot. What if this group of people were death soldiers? What kind of people's death soldiers would they be? Death soldiers were raised from childhood and had no identity. Only big families would raise death soldiers. Wang Lan instantly returned to the table and reopened the information on the table. He overturned all his previous speculations and replaced these people with death soldiers. Death soldiers must be on a mission that couldn't be exposed. How could the murderer accurately find this group of people who had no identity? No, from another perspective, what if these people delivered themselves to the murderer's door? Death soldiers were usually raised in secret places and wouldn't be released. There was only one reason why they were released: to carry out a mission. If they were death soldiers of the Duanmu family, then it would be normal for Duanmu Jing to be with them. Moreover, Duanmu Jing's parents' explanation seemed reasonable, but there was a loophole. From the witnesses' testimonies, the murderer didn't spend much time killing them. About 5 seconds. Even if it had been less than 10 seconds since the first sound was heard. In less than 10 seconds, Duanmu Jing, this warm-hearted young man, happened to arrive, and unfortunately, he was killed. Moreover, judging from the distribution of the bodies, Duanmu Jing wasn't at the end, but in the middle. This formation looked more like he was being protected in the middle. If this speculation was true, why would the Duanmu family send death soldiers here? Why couldn't the Duanmu family appear openly and had to send death soldiers? Wang Lan looked at the map again. The distribution of the bodies formed an arc. All the victims were between 25 and 35 years old, and none of them had an identity. The Duanmu family must be up to something, but what exactly is it? Wang Lan tapped his fingers on the table. After about 10 minutes, Wang Lan's fingers suddenly stopped. He quickly took out his phone and entered the Heavenly Sword Bureau's intelligence department system. I guessed right. Chapter 3:18. After coming out of the 9-story pagoda, Wang Lan told the Heavenly Sword Bureau about the relationship between Shaoqing and Bai Ji. The Heavenly Sword Bureau did not hesitate and immediately started investigating. Soon, they found a property under Bai Ji's name. It was located in a middle-class residential area in Eastwood Town. The Heavenly Sword Bureau immediately went into search. They turned Bai Ji's room upside down, but did not find anything. Last week, Wang Lan received a reply from the Heavenly Sword Bureau saying that this lead should be broken. But now, the place where the incident happened was in Eastwood Town. This was a coincidence. Wang Lan washed up and walked out of the room. The 4 team members had been training on the field for a while. Wang Lan knew that Takashi Hoshi's daily training was very regular in order to maintain their best condition. Just like Jiang Xinyu, since she was 9 years old, she would practice every morning and night. After 10 years of perseverance, Wang Lan was the one who was not enthusiastic about training. He thought about training, but he did not think that he would not move at all. After coming out of the 9-story pagoda, Wang Lan did not move at all. Looks like I'm not working hard at all. Captain, do you usually wake up so late? It's already 8:30. Bai Su was the most unrestrained in front of Wang Lan, so she opened her mouth. Yeah, we woke up at 4:30. We've been training for more than 3 hours. You slept so late last night and woke up so early? Lack of sleep will affect the efficiency of the case. Forget it. Let's go and have breakfast first. Wang Lan drove away with the 4 people and arrived at the entrance of a tea house. Because it was Sunday, the tea house was full of cars. After driving around, they could not find a parking space. Captain, just park the car here. We can't find a parking space, even if we drive around for an hour. How about this? I'll go down a buy, you guys stay in the car. If someone is in the car, we won't get a ticket. You make it sound like the traffic police will put a ticket on a car with the license plate of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Zhang Zhao's words made Lu Yifeng choke for a long time. In the end, it was Wang Lan who got out of the car to order. Then, he returned to the car with a big bag of buns in youtiao. The steamed buns were crab roe buns, the steamed dumplings were beef and glutinous rice steamed dumplings, and the fried dough sticks were cheese fried dough sticks. The breakfast for the 5 of them cost Wang Lan nearly 600 yuan. Even if the team members were all elites of the Heavenly Sword Bureau, they still couldn't afford to eat so extravagantly. Captain, one crab roast soup dumpling costs 48 renminbi. You bought 5 at once? Honestly speaking, are you a super rich person? Why isn't there even a single car? Bai Su's eyes flashed with lightning as she asked in a coquettish tone. Why do you ask? Also, your reaction is a little off. Zhang Xiao, I'll change seats with you. I'll sit in the front passenger seat. Don't be afraid. I won't eat you. Captain, do you have a girlfriend? Can you consider me? I'm only 18. Can you bear to do it? Yifeng, protect me. Amidst the commotion, the 5 of them finished their breakfast in the car. Shanghai's crab roast soup dumplings were indeed worthy of their reputation. Captain, where are we going now? Jinghua Mansion. Why are we going to Jinghua Mansion? To investigate the case. I suspect that the people who were killed were men of sacrifice, and their deaths were related to Jinghua Mansion. Although the 4 of them didn't know how Wang Lan found new clues overnight, they didn't ask much. Yang Yang drove into Jinghua Mansion's residential area. Under Wang Lan's instructions, they stopped at the parking lot in front of the 15th building. This place, I think I've been here before. Last week, I came here with the intelligence department to search. Zhang Xiao looked at the residential building and touched his chin. Did you find anything during your last search? No, the room was very clean. It was a single woman's residence. There were only women's items. There was nothing special. Let's go, we'll search again. Wang Lan led the 4 of them in. It wasn't that Wang Lan didn't trust his brother's search, nor did he hope to find any evidence in Bai Ji's house. Instead, Wang Lan suspected that the men of sacrifice were targeted and killed because they went to Bai Ji's house. If they were really men of sacrifice from the Duanmu family, and if they came to Donglin district because of Shaoqing, the only possibility was to search Bai Ji's house. Because they couldn't let people know that it was the Duanmu family who did it, they could only send men of sacrifice. Then, would the men of sacrifice leave behind any clues when they were searching? Now that there were few clues, Wang Lan couldn't let go of any possible opportunity. When they opened the door, they saw a mess. Lu Yifeng turned to look at Zhang Xiao. Was it like this after your last search? It shouldn't be. Our brothers from the Heavenly Sword Bureau are all people of integrity. Why is it like a robbery? No, we didn't search it last time. Even if it was, it would all be in place. How could it be like this? Not only are things in a mess, but even the walls, ceiling, and floor are all smashed. Looks like I guessed right. Wang Lan smiled. Those dead people without identities were indeed men of sacrifice. They came here and dug 3 feet into the ground. Not bad. Captain, you found a new clue? How did you find it? Bai Su asked with admiration. If she was just joking the car before now, Bai Su really admired this captain who was a few years younger than her. It can't be considered a clue. It's just a new hypothesis. As for how I came up with it, I had a dream last night. Of course, a hypothesis is just a hypothesis. All hypotheses are just empty talk. Only when you find evidence to prove the hypothesis will be valid. Now it seems that although there is no evidence for the hypothesis, the possibility of it being valid has increased. Everyone, look carefully and see if you can find any evidence. The 5 of them split up. Bai Ji's house wasn't big. It was only 120 square meters. There was a living room, a master bedroom, a second bedroom, 2 bathrooms, 1 bathroom, and an independent study. Because it was completely destroyed, it was impossible to see its original appearance. Don't look down on it, because it was an ordinary neighborhood in Shanghai. Don't look down on it, because it was just a 120 square meter house. The average house price in Shanghai was 80,000 yuan. This house was worth more than 10 million yuan. Captain, I don't think there's a need to search anymore. The whole house has been dug up. Everything should have been dug up by now. I've seen people eating fish, chickens, and crabs in an artistic way, but I've never seen someone digging 3 feet into the ground to search a house so thoroughly. Not only did they dig up the decoration layer, but they even dug up the circuit layer below. That's awesome. Just as the 5 of them split up to search inch by inch, Wang Lan suddenly felt a ray of light sweep past his eyes. In an instant, Wang Lan came to the balcony. Astral power surged. Farsight activate. The distance between Jinghua Mansion was not big. It was only about 30 meters. Therefore, many of the lower floors had very little sunlight every day. However, the location of Baiji's house was outstanding. It was only 10 days in the morning, but the sun was already shining on the balcony. Wang Lan used his farsight and saw a telescope on the top floor 200 meters away from Baiji's house. Wang Lan saw it. Behind the telescope was an old man who looked like a savage. The old man seemed to have noticed something. He suddenly put away the telescope and shrank back into the room. "Captain, why are you standing on the balcony? I've searched, but there's nothing. I didn't find anything on my side either." "Nothing? I did find something on my side." Wang Lan smiled faintly. "How's your strength?" "The murderer is a powerhouse who can kill even a galaxy state in an instant. If you don't do it well, you'll be killed." Early stage of galaxy. Peak of galaxy. Peak of galaxy. Middle stage of galaxy. Baiji's face turned red when she said that. Among the four of them, she seemed to be the most embarrassed. "Don't look at me. I'm only 21 years old." Under Wang Lan's gaze, Bai Su blurted out anxiously. She even forgot that age was a woman's biggest secret. Takashi Hoshi's strength would erupt between the ages of 18 and 30. Whatever height they could reach, they would basically reach it during this period. Even some geniuses would spend 10 years before the age of 18 to go from star to nebula. During the eruption period, not only would their cultivation not slow down, but it would also speed up. From nebula to galaxy state, it might take a few years. Moreover, during university, many Takashi Hoshi's cultivation would explode under the school's resources. Reaching the galaxy state at the age of 24 or 25 was nothing. If you couldn't break through to the galaxy state at the age of 24 or 25, then the possibility of breaking through to the star-sea realm in this lifetime was not high. Wang Lan knew that Yang Yang was 28 years old this year and was at the early stage of galaxy state. However, there was not much time left for him to grow. At this rate, the possibility of him becoming a titled powerhouse was not high. Bai Su was 21 years old this year and was at the middle stage of galaxy state. She still had 9 years of explosive growth. In terms of potential, she might be the one who could go the furthest. It was a fair evaluation. Even if these 4 team members were placed in the Shanghai Star Martial Arts Academy, where geniuses were everywhere and monsters were as numerous as dogs, they would definitely be the top group of people, as expected of an independent team of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Moreover, it was an independent team names. The quality was really high. With an early-stage star-sea realm as a foundation, Wang Lan knew what to expect. Wang Lan's normal strength was at the late stage of galaxy state. In his phoenix form, he could fight against a star-sea realm cultivator. 2 star-sea realm cultivators against 1. Wang Lan did not believe that the other party would be a titled powerhouse. "Come with me, Yang Yang. You have to pay attention to the 3 of them at all times. The murderer is at least at the star-sea realm. If it's not necessary, let me deal with him." "Captain, can you do it?" For the first time, Yang Yang had a trace of doubt about Wang Lan. After all, who would believe an 18-year-old star-sea realm cultivator? In the 70 years after the war, the number of outstanding geniuses who had emerged in the Jade State was at least 800, if not 1,000. However, none of them could break through to the star-sea realm at the age of 18. They had to be at least 20 years old, right? Even Yuriyun, who was known as an eternal genius, was at the peak of galaxy state and was 19 years old this year. If she could break through to the star-sea realm this year, she might be the first person to break the age of 20. Could Wang Lan be at the star-sea realm? Yes. Although I shouldn't ask this, Captain, can you do it? Student Bai Su, there are some things that Yang Yang and I can say, but you can't say, Lu Yifeng said with an enigmatic face. Chapter 319. Peng dash, the door was kicked open, star power surged. Wang Lan instantly locked onto a sloppy person in the living room. "No, don't hit me." The sloppy beggar knelt down as if it was a conditioned reflex, hugging his head and curling up his body. This scene made the world extremely quiet. Zhang Xiao and Bai Su stared back and forth between Wang Lan and the man in front of them in a daze. "This is the murderer you mentioned? At least a star sea realm master?" Wang Lan frowned and glanced around the man's house. Although it was in the same community as Bai Ji, his house was still an unfinished house. The light on the roof was just the most common screw bulb. Other than the entrance door, there were no doors installed in the other rooms. The room was filled with all kinds of garbage and some scraps from who knows where. After waiting for a long time and not seeing Wang Lan and the others move, the middle-aged man raised his head blankly. One of his eyes was obviously blind, flashing a strange cold light. Who are you? Come to my house, what are you doing? Wang Lan did not answer, but turned to the balcony and saw the telescope on the balcony that was put away. It was a very old observation telescope. Were you peeping at us with the telescope just now? The sloppy middle-aged man raised his head blankly. No, I was just looking. When he spoke, the sloppy man's smile was a little wretched and a little scared. Captain, there is no star power fluctuation on him. Are you mistaken? Bai Su quietly came to Wang Lan and asked. Not necessarily. Do you think that there is no perceptive Takashi Hoshi among those men of sacrifice? He can still kill people without anyone noticing, indicating that perception does not work on the murderer. But he doesn't look like a Takashi Hoshi to me. Although the house he lives in is just an unfinished house, it is still a 2-bedroom house in Shanghai. It is worth at least 7 million. Don't be fooled by his appearance. Maybe he rented it. Which landlord do you think would be willing to rent a house to him? Wang Lan asked with a sneer. Little brother, I bought this house 7 years ago when I won the lottery. I was lucky that time and won $5 million in the lottery to buy this house. All the money went into this house. 5 million? Now that the house price has risen to 7 or 8 million, why don't you sell it? If you sell the house, you'll be a millionaire immediately. Where will I live after I sell my house? I may be poor, but I'm not stupid. I know that the house holds its value, so I won't make a loss no matter when I sell it. When I first won 5 million yuan, there were also many women who wanted to throw themselves at me. But I also knew that they were after my 5 million. If I really fell for it, the 5 million would be gone in a few years. I'm an old bachelor with no children. In the future, when I'm old and sell my house, I'll go to a nursing home. You're not stupid. Where do these things come from? I picked it up from the garbage dump. I work as a classifier at the garbage disposal site in the south. Really? How much is your monthly salary? 2,000. Food and lodging are not included. After a series of questions and answers, Old Man Wei's information was quickly gathered. Yang Yang also quickly checked through the Heavenly Sword Bureau's intelligence network, and it was exactly as Old Man Wei said. Captain, the information is the same. It seems that there's nothing wrong with this Wei Zhang. But within a minute after we entered Bai Ji's house, he stared at us with binoculars. This shouldn't be a coincidence, right? Looking casually, it's too much of a coincidence. Little brother, I'm not just looking at you. Who else are you looking at? There are many residents here. Many of the residents' bathroom and bedroom curtains are not drawn properly. Sometimes there's a gap. My binoculars are good. As long as there's no cover, it's like looking at a few hundred meters away from the window. I've been single all my life. When I want a woman, I'll look and satisfy my cravings. As he spoke, his face revealed a wretched smile that all men understood. Bah, old pervert. Is that so? Yang Yang, give me the restraining handcuffs. Yang Yang took the restraining handcuffs from his waist and handed them to Wang Lan. Captain, do you want to take him back for interrogation? Since he's a suspect, take him back and investigate properly. Wang Lan took the restraining handcuffs and walked towards Old Man Wei. You, what are you doing? Don't mess around. You, don't be afraid, it's fine. I just want to ask you to go to the Heavenly Sword Bureau for an investigation. Don't worry, if you're innocent, you'll be released. What Heavenly Sword Bureau? I don't know. Aren't you guards? Do you have an arrest warrant? This is kidnapping. Help, help, stop screaming. The Heavenly Sword Bureau is arresting people. Even if you scream your lungs out, no one will care about you. Wang Lan sneered and snorted. When the two young ladies heard this, their faces immediately lit up with smiles. These two girls usually watched a lot of dramas. Wang Lan stepped in front of Old Man Wei and opened the handcuffs to his wrists. As long as the restraining handcuffs were cuffed, although it might not be able to suppress everyone's star power, It had a strong suppressive effect on the control of star power. A moment of obstruction of star power could lead to an unnatural death. So after being cuffed, even if they could break free from the restraining handcuffs, they wouldn't dare to do so in public. If they were caught in the process of breaking free, they would die in vain. Just as the handcuffs were about to be put on, a terrifying wave of star power exploded like a barrel of oil. In an instant, Wang Lan's Zanpakuto automatically appeared in his hand. Boom! With a loud bang, a shockwave swept over. Bai Su, who was unprepared, was sent flying by the terrifying impact. Although the other three weren't as flustered as Bai Ji, they weren't much better off. It wasn't that the so-called elite team's ability to adapt was bad. It was just that on their first official mission, they met a guy who could completely hide his star power. All Takashi Hoshi would try to hide their star power, but there were very few star power fluctuations that could not be sensed by the perception-type Takashi Hoshi. Even the 5 emperors couldn't hide it. At most, they could reduce the intensity of the fluctuations. For the perception-type Takashi Hoshi, as long as it existed, it would be sensed. As long as it was a Takashi Hoshi, it must have a star palace. As long as it had a star palace and star power in the body, it could be sensed even if it was completely still. And the ability to completely hide one's perception was a rare ability among rare abilities. They encountered it on their first mission. Their faces couldn't be more gloomy. The shockwave rolled up the dust in the room. Thick smoke instantly billowed. Wang Lan's figure stepped back, holding the Zanpakuto in front of his chest. His legs left long scratches on the ground. In the billowing dust, Old Man Wei's body slowly straightened up. Straightening up, Old Man Wei exuded an aura as majestic as a mountain. At this moment, he was as straight as a pine tree. Old Man Wei stretched out his hands. Whoosh whoosh, a katana and a long sword flew out from a pile of debris and fell into Old Man Wei's hands. Kid, you're really stubborn. I've explained all your doubts, and you're still so stubborn? I didn't want to complicate things and spare your lives, but you didn't want to take the road to Yangwan. It's really you. Yang, guard the array barrier. Barrier was a skill that the Heavenly Sword Bureau's team had to master. The strength of the team members varied, so the power of the barrier was also different. Yang and the others were all experts above the galaxy realm. Even supercluster late-stage experts might not be able to break the barrier. And the other function of the barrier was to prevent the suspect from escaping. Once trapped in the barrier, the suspect would have a hard time escaping. So the moment Wang Lan's voice fell, Old Man Wei's figure flashed and appeared in front of Bai Su at a strange speed. Dang! The Zanpakuto blocked Old Man Wei's attack. And at this moment, Bai Su was already pale with fright. Old Man Wei's attack was close to her neck, but Bai Su didn't notice it at all. If Wang Lan hadn't blocked the attack in an instant, she would already be dead. Bai Su was an elite. A 20-year-old galaxy middle stage expert would be praised as a genius wherever she went. But she almost became a genius who died prematurely as a negative example. HM. You can keep up with my speed? Old Man Wei shouted in surprise. Normally, Old Man Wei's speed had already reached a certain limit. In the galaxy realm, there were no more than 10 people faster than him. This was Old Man Wei's confidence. But no matter how fast you were, it was still just speed. Wang Lan's perplexing phantom track was Flash. Flash's perplexing phantom track, plus gold-grade basic sword technique and basic saber technique. In terms of close combat, Wang Lan was not afraid. In an instant, Old Man Wei's saber and sword attacked, and Wang Lan was instantly engulfed in a saber light screen. Old Man Wei's attribute should be wind, and he had already developed the wind's sharpness to the extreme. His moves could not be considered exquisite, but the world's martial arts were unbreakable. While the two-handed saber and sword danced with completely different attack moves, he could still be as fast as lightning. It was no wonder that the Duanmu clan dispatched death warriors, and even Duanmu Jing were cleanly killed by him in a matter of minutes. Dang, dang, dang. A burst of fierce fighting sounds echoed. Golden spears clashed, forming a line. It was obviously a battle between two people, but it gave the four people the impression that two armies were fighting. Old Man Wei's close combat had always been invincible, and this kind of close combat, Wang Lan had never been afraid. After Wang Lan repeatedly blocked Old Man Wei's attacks on Yang Yang and the other three, the four finally completed their formation. Sealing barrier, purple flame seal. As the four people's star power surged, the sealing array converged like a big windmill. In an instant, four purple flame walls rose to the sky, surrounding the entire room, Wang Lan and Old Man Wei in the middle. Boom! With a loud sound, Wang Lan and Old Man Wei separated after a fight. Before Old Man Wei defeated Wang Lan, he did not dare to try to destroy the barrier again, because once he tried to destroy the barrier, Wang Lan would instantly give a fatal blow. At such a young age, you can actually tie with me. When did Jade State have such a young genius like you? Are you from Qilin Courtyard? Old Man Wei asked doubtfully. Although Wang Lan did not know what Qilin Courtyard was, he was too lazy to talk nonsense. The Zanpakuto in his hand, even if disguised, was the world's top divine weapon. But in this round of slashing, the opponent's saber and sword had cut out dense gaps. The opponent's attainments in the wind attribute and sharpness attribute had reached the point that Wang Lan was amazed. Chapter 320. What's your relationship with Shaoqing? Wang Lan asked in a low voice. 15 years ago, the 7th Battalion of the Northwest Military Region's 3rd Takashihoshi Legion was ordered to rescue a small team that had fallen into an alternate dimension. The exotic beasts inside are stronger than we imagined. We paid the price of 50 casualties to find the besieged squad. The battalion commander told us to buy time for them to retreat and to wait for reinforcements. 3 days, we fought in the alternate dimension for 3 whole days. But in the end, the dimension door closed, and only the 2 of us were left of the 30 brothers. My little brother fell into my arms and asked me if the reinforcements had come. When would they come? He was still thinking about reinforcements even when he died. But the higher-ups had already given up on us. 30 brothers and the 50 brothers who died on the way in were sacrificed just to exchange for the life of a young master of the Yu family. The military's initial plan was to use our lives to exchange for the life of a single person. On what basis? Don't tell me that the lives of those who risk their lives for the country aren't lives. Aren't they worth anything? You asked me if I knew Shaoqing. We're just lonely ghosts who return to the mortal realm. So that's how it is. You stayed in the dark, and Shaoqing stayed in the open. Shaoqing died, and you took revenge for him? No, since we've embarked on this path, we'll have to pay for it sooner or later. Shaoqing was captured and executed, and none of us resented him. Shaoqing kept his promise even when he died and didn't betray us. Ghosts like us, who have been betrayed, hate betrayers the most. But they weren't willing to let him go and even wanted to eliminate his family. It's fine if Shaoqing's lover died, and it's fine if that woman's child died. But they shouldn't have extended their hands to Bai Ji. We hid Bai Ji so well, but they still weren't willing to let her go. Since that's the case, don't blame us for fighting to the death. Since you can find this place, you can take away the things Shaoqing left behind. But you have to let me go first. It's not even dark yet, and you're already so drunk? Then all of you can die. Old Man Wei instantly brandished his 2 swords. Sword lights flashed, and sword energies crisscrossed. A sword light formed a sword wheel that attacked Wang Lan. Wang Lan hurriedly held his sword horizontally in front of his chest. In an instant, he slashed out 15 sword chis and finally defeated the sword chis in front of him. But the Zanpakuto was already overwhelmed, and it was covered with shocking cracks. Wang Lan took a deep breath. Because the area was too small, Wang Lan's Takashihoshi did not have much of an advantage. Fortunately, the same restriction would also restrict Old Man Wei. Moreover, close combat was Wang Lan's best fighting style. Wang Lan held his blade in front of him. Bloom, sword of light. As his voice fell, the Zanpakuto instantly exploded and turned into stars all over the sky. When the stars gathered, they formed a long sword made of light. This scene appeared in front of Old Man Wei in surprise. Old Man Wei looked at Wang Lan unnaturally. Is this a Takashi Hoshi skill or a Star Palace artifact? If it's a Takashi Hoshi skill, this sword was obviously transformed from the Zanpakuto. But if it's a Star Palace artifact, how come a Star Palace artifact can also perform a Takashi Hoshi skill? Wang Lan's figure flashed, and he instantly flashed to the side of Old Man Wei, and the sword of light slashed down. Dang! Old Man Wei raised his Zanpakuto block, and the light overflowed. Wang Lan's sword danced again in an instant, and the trajectory of the sword left an afterimage of the light blade. The light blade instantly attacked Old Man Wei, and Old Man Wei quickly blocked with his sword. But at the same time, Wang Lan's sword had already pierced over. Old Man Wei quickly blocked with the Zanpakuto in his left hand. If Old Man Wei could use different Zanpakuto and the Zanpakuto, this move would be enough to kill him. Arrow rain. Suddenly, Wang Lan jumped back and flew high into the sky. With a light point of the sword, countless light blades turned into dense arrows and bombarded Old Man Wei. Seeing this scene, Old Man Wei was so scared that his face turned pale. He had seen sword chi before. When the sword stabbed out, a sword chi would shoot out. To release several sword chi in an instant, one had to stab out several times. So, anyone who could release more than 10 sword chi in an instant was definitely an expert at the peak of sword Dao. But Wang Lan had only stabbed out once, and countless arrows rained down like a rainstorm. What the hell is this? Although he was terrified, his movements didn't slow down at all. He hurriedly blocked the rain of arrows. However, as soon as he blocked the rain of arrows, Wang Lan's Zanpakuto danced again, and countless light blades like crescent moons drew an arc trajectory and bombarded the opponent. Not only were there many, but they were also fast. At this moment, Old Man Wei had 3 words stuck in his throat. Wang Lan's astral power level was 2 levels lower than his, but at this moment, he was crushed as if he had encountered a titled expert. Boom! The Zanpakuto in his hand shattered and turned into stars all over the sky. The sword in his hand was broken and fell from the broken blade powerlessly. Wang Lan gently stabbed out, and the sword instantly became 3 meters long. The golden light blade pierced deeply into Old Man Wei's chest, shattering his heart. Old Man Wei stared at Wang Lan, then suddenly opened his mouth and vomited a mouthful of black blood. You actually defeated me in close combat with swords and sabers. Ha ha! Cough, cough, cough. Wang Lan put away the light blade, and the light blade once again returned to the disguised appearance of Itachi. The scabbard slowly closed. At this moment, should Wang Lan softly say, "You Luoxue?" Unfortunately, Yu Jifeng was already dead. From Wang Lan's Zanpakuto Shurkai to killing Old Man Wei, the whole process took less than a minute. Moreover, this victory didn't have the slightest trace of luck, but a Star Sea Realm expert was killed head-on. If the 4-person team was a little worried about Wang Lan's strength before, then all these worries were gone now. Killing a Star Sea Realm expert head-on, if you're so good, then go ahead. Although this Star Sea Realm expert seemed to only know how to use Zanpakuto and seemed to be limited in range of movement. But wasn't this restriction the same on Wang Lan? Bai Su looked at Wang Lan with eyes full of stars, completely falling into a little fangirl. Even Zhang Zhao's eyes looking at Wang Lan became different. Leapfrog kill, reward, 1000 EXP, 80 SP. The system prompt sounded, but Wang Lan didn't care at all. These EXP and SP were not enough to fill the gaps between his teeth. The enchantment was removed? What? You want to take me back? Wang Lan suddenly became angry after coming back to his senses. The 4 of them were still controlling the enchantment. Speaking of the quality of the 4 people, they shouldn't have reacted so slowly. It was really because Wang Lan's battle just now was too classic, and their minds were still replaying it over and over again. If they were in Wang Lan's situation, the result was very realistic, the kind that couldn't be more dead. Quick! Everyone search carefully, we must find the image of Shao Qing, he said, even if we have to dig 3 feet underground. In fact, they didn't need to dig 3 feet underground. Under Zhang Zhao's Earth attribute Takashi Hoshi's search, they found 7 to 8 metal boxes hidden in the cement floor. When they opened it, they couldn't stay calm. They were all mid-grade soul beads. Only one box had more than 10 low-grade soul beads. Wang Lan suspiciously came to the low-grade soul beads, looked at the soul beads in the box, and took out one. With just a glance, his face understood. Sure enough, they were all mid-grade soul beads. There was no reason to make a box of low-grade soul beads. To Wang Lan, these low-grade soul beads were the most valuable things. Take these things and go back. Wang Lan waved her hand. Also, inform the superintendent to come and clean up the mess. Verify if he is the murderer or not. Although we have already confirmed it, we still need objective evidence. Okay. Wang Lan came to the window and looked at the quiet neighborhood, suddenly feeling a little melancholy. He had been in this world for 18 years, but he always had a feeling of being out of place. Maybe it was because he lacked a sense of belonging. Suddenly, Wang Lan's eyes narrowed slightly. In the distance, a somewhat familiar figure appeared at the entrance of the neighborhood, walking over step by step. Why is he here? Wang Lan's eyes flashed. I'll leave this to you guys. I'll leave first. Captain, did you find something? Bai Su bounced to Wang Lan's side, suspecting that this girl was born in the year of the rabbit. That's not right. I'm born in the year of the snake. He's 3 years older. So shouldn't he be born in the year of the tiger? Tigo? No, I met a senior. I'm going to say hello. Duanmu Fanghua carried a convenience bag and slowly walked along the inner road. His deep face seemed to be hiding his thoughts. While walking, his eyebrows wrinkled from time to time. Senior Fanghua. Suddenly, a call interrupted Duanmu Fanghua's contemplation. Duanmu Fanghua stopped and turned his head to look, his face suddenly showing a smile. Wang Lan classmate. Perhaps at this moment, the two people's hearts simultaneously sounded a voice. Hey! Honey mouth and a sword in the belly. Both of them knew that their relationship with each other was not harmonious. On the contrary, the two of them had a big disagreement before. That time with Duanmu Yi, Wang Lan originally wanted to beat up both the rabbit and the deer. Duanmu, you should be dealt with. This Duanmu Fanghua may not be a good thing. However, Duanmu Fanghua was apprenticed to the vice principal, Nangong Meng, and the things that Duanmu Yi did indeed have nothing to do with Duanmu Fanghua, so Duanmu Fanghua was released that night. After that, Wang Lan did not see Duanmu Fanghua in school. He heard from his classmates that Duanmu Fanghua was still in the student union. The reason why Wang Lan did not see him was because he had been hiding from Wang Lan. When the two of them met, it was absolutely impossible for them to show a smile of reunion after a long separation. But the two of them, whose acting skills were passable, actually acted out a scene of an old friend reuniting with an old friend in a foreign land. Why is Wang Lan classmate here? I'm looking for a friend. Where's Senior Duanmu? Also looking for a friend? Duanmu Fanghua raised the convenience bag in his hand. Green onion, ginger. Looking for a friend can bring these things? My family lives here. Isn't Duanmu Fanghua a member of the Duanmu family? Why do you live here? Could be that you rented the house. That's not right. This place is not close to the school. Live in the Duanmu family? Who told you that? Duanmu Fanghua's smile was somewhat forced. I don't deserve to live in the Duanmu family. My mother and I've always lived here. It's rare to meet Senior Duanmu. Don't you want to invite me to your house to take a look? Wang Lan asked with a smile. Duanmu Fanghua's face slightly changed, and his smile could not be maintained, but he still nodded. All right, but when you see my mother later, don't call me Senior Duanmu or Duanmu Fanghua. My name is Mu Fanghua. Chapter 321. Why? Actually, a lot of people in the school know, but they don't talk about it because they care about my reputation. I'm Duanmu Qingsong's illegitimate son, and I'm not recognized by the Duanmu family. Do you think Duanmu, you will let this go? Ever since he came to Cebu Gakuen in Shanghai, he has been spreading the news everywhere. 20 years ago, my mother was deceived by Duanmu Qingsong's fake appearance and thought she had found a man she could entrust her life to. However, Duanmu Qingsong did not fulfill his promise. In order to inherit the position of the head of the family, he abandoned my mother and married a woman from the Liu family. In a fit of anger, my mother drew a clear line with Duanmu Qingsong and moved here alone. I've been living here for 15 years. My mother doesn't allow me to have anything to do with the Duanmu family. My name on my ID card is my mother's surname. My real name is Mu Fonghua. When she said this, Wang Lan almost thought that Duanmu Fonghua was going to reveal her real name. Her real name was out. Then why are you meddling in Duanmu Yi's business? Looks like you didn't listen to your mother. If I didn't rely on the Duanmu family, would I be at the Galaxy grade now? Would I be able to get into Cebu Gakuen in Shanghai? Would I be able to become teacher Nangong's disciple? Wang Lan, people like you who grew up soaking in soul orbs can't understand the fate of people like us at the bottom. Why does everyone think that I'm the kind of person who was born with a golden spoon? Half a year ago, I was still an unknown passerby, okay? Although soul orbs are important, it's not like I can't obtain them with my own ability. Anyway, all my soul orbs were obtained by myself. I didn't rely on anyone's charity. Okay, I might not be able to out-talk you. We've reached my house. Take the elevator to the 10th floor. However, I still have to ask you not to expose me later. Okay, Mom, I'm back. You have a friend? Hello, Auntie. I'm Senior Moo's classmate. I'm a freshman this year. You child, why didn't you call me in advance if you have a guest? I didn't prepare anything. Duanmu Fenghua's mother angrily said this. No, Annie, I met Fenghua in the community, so I came to recognize the door. I'll leave after sitting for a while. Duanmu Fenghua's mother was a very intellectual woman. Her legs were injured and she sat in a wheelchair. She had short hair and wore a pair of artistic glasses. Judging from her proficiency in operating the wheelchair, she must have lived in a wheelchair for a long time. Have a seat first. I'll get you some water. No need, no need. You really don't need to trouble yourself. Wang Lan quickly stood up and said, Mom, that's my classmate. You don't have to be so polite. Don't move, I'll do it. The mother and daughter pair made Wang Lan a little embarrassed. The house didn't look big. It should be about 70 or 80 square meters. If it was just the two of them, it would be fine, but after Duanmu Fenghua got married, it might be crowded. The decoration in the house was still very retro. It should have been installed for a long time. There was no ceiling, and the top of the head was just coated with plaster. The house was not big, but it was very tidy. Looks like Duanmu Fenghua didn't lie to me. He really does live in Jinghua Mansion. Senior, Auntie, you really don't need to trouble yourself. I already know the main door. I'll find Senior to play in the future. This child, you just sat down and you want to leave? Why don't you leave after dinner? No, I have an appointment with my classmate to play games. That Senior, Auntie, I'll leave first. Then, I won't keep you. Fenghua, send your classmate off. I'm looking after the pot. I'll look after it. You go. No need. No need. Duanmu Fenghua enthusiastically sent Wang Lan to the door. Duanmu Fenghua smiled. Don't be offended. My mom's legs are inconvenient. She's usually very lonely at home. It's rare for someone to come, so she's a little more enthusiastic. Although your mom's legs aren't very good, at least you still have a mom. I remember a good song a few years ago. Listen to your mom. Don't let her get hurt. Leaving these words, Wang Lan's figure disappeared from the elevator. The smile on Duanmu Fenghua's face disappeared the moment Wang Lan's elevator completely closed. She snorted coldly, turned around, opened the door, and walked into the house. At this moment, Madame Mu's back was facing Duanmu Fenghua. Her face was calm as she looked out the window. You're involved with the Duanmu family again? No. Perhaps she was used to lying. Duanmu Fenghua's lie came out naturally. There was no trace of guilt or unnaturalness on her face. You're still denying it? That student of yours isn't an ordinary student. When he entered the house, the first thing he looked at was me. Then, he looked at the decorations of my house. Finally, after confirming something, he stood up and left. Mom, have you been alone at home for too long? You like to let your imagination run wild? What the hell are you talking about? Isn't it normal for my classmate to observe you when he comes to my house? When I go to other people's houses, I have to see if the host welcomes me or not. Also, It's normal for him to look at my house's decorations. My house's decorations are so retro. It's definitely rare. Am I overthinking? You're definitely overthinking. Is that so? You've never brought a classmate home before. This time, you suddenly brought someone home. You've never brought back those two good friends of yours from the student union. As for this Wang Lan, I've never heard of his name before. Yet you brought him back? This isn't like you. Mom, it's because I want to curry favor with him. Don't overthink it. I've really drawn a clear line with the Duanmu family. That better be the case. I heard that Duanmu is dead. Now that he's dead, don't think that your chance has come. Even if the Duanmu family wants to carry you to the Duanmu family, it will have to wait until after I'm dead. I'm warning you, if you step into the Duanmu family, I'll kill myself right in front of you. Mom, I won't. Wang Lan's thigh is much thicker than the Duanmu family. I won't be stupid enough to get on that sinking ship of the Duanmu family. It's good that you know. Hurry up and look after the pot. Be careful not to burn it. When they returned from Duanmu Fenghua's house, the team of 4 was already waiting downstairs. The superintendent's men had also come and pulled up the tape to maintain order. Captain, let's go. And the SUV started and drove out of the neighborhood onto the highway. It was noon, although there weren't as many cars as during the evening rush hour. Because it was the weekend, the cars on the highway were already moving one after another. The case is solved? Suddenly, Lu Yifeng, who was beside Wang Lan, asked like a zombie. You're still sleepwalking? It's solved. The murderer was executed by the captain on the spot. But why do I feel like I didn't do anything? It's solved just like that? It's only been a day and a half. What else do you want? Do you want to go through so much trouble and chase from the south to the north to catch the murderer to solve the case? Zhang Xiao, who was in the front passenger seat, sneered. This is too fast. The Bureau has been handling such a difficult case for almost a month, and there's no progress at all. Now that it's in our hands, it's solved in a day and a half. This is enough for me to act cool for a year. Are you the one who solved it? The case was solved by the captain. Captain, something's wrong. Yang Yang, who was driving, suddenly said. Yang Yang's tone became more respectful. In the past, Yang Yang's tone towards Wang Lan was just to fulfill his position. But now, after Wang Lan single-handedly killed a Star Sea Realm expert, Yang Yang had enough recognition of Wang Lan's strength. In terms of military rank, Yang Yang was a lieutenant colonel, one level higher than Wang Lan. There are 4 cars behind us. They're overtaking and approaching quickly. I suspect that they're coming for us. Can you shake them off? I can't shake them off. There are so many cars on the highway. If I follow them, I'll cause a big accident. Go down the ramp in front. Go to a place with fewer people. And Yang Yang quickly turned into the ramp, and the 4 cars behind followed him down the ramp. Perhaps the other party didn't want to cause trouble in a crowded place. After Wang Lan got off the highway, they didn't chase after him like before. Instead, they followed from a distance. They followed for more than 10 minutes until they reached a remote place. Wang Lan's car stopped, and the 4 cars also stopped 100 meters away from each other. Soon, 7 or 8 cars came from all directions and surrounded Wang Lan's off-road vehicle. The doors of the other party opened, and 5 people came out of each car. It was estimated that there were more than 50 people. Friend, we don't want to make a big deal out of this. As long as you give us the person you caught from Jinghua Mansion and the things you got, we'll be fine. Moreover, everyone will be thanked. The amount of gratitude is enough to let you live the rest of your life without worry. Otherwise, we'll have to ask you to die. A low voice sounded from one of the cars. Oh, Yang Yang chuckled. You dare to surround the Heavenly Sword Bureau's car? I've been working in the Heavenly Sword Bureau for so many years, but I've never seen such a thing. Captain, what should we do? Never seen or heard of such a thing. What else can we do? Yifeng, Baisu, Zhang Xiao. Stay in the car to protect the evidence. Yang Yang, you take the east, and I'll take the west. Make it quick. Yes. Yang Yang slowly opened the car door. The moment the car door opened, his body liquefied, as if he had turned into a silver, liquid robot. The moment Wang Lan's body landed, he pointed a finger at the sky. Astral power surged, and a magic array appeared in the sky. Disperse. One of the people in the convoy roared, "Meteor shower." His warning was too late. The moment that person shouted, the meteor shower in the sky came crashing down. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions rang out one after another. The people surrounding Wang Lan were dumbfounded on the spot. Did it have to be so horrifying? Did anyone go all out? Even if he was a Star Sea Realm Takashi Hoshi, couldn't he be a normal Star Sea Realm cultivator? Using an S-grade Takashi Hoshi technique right off the bat? Was this something a human could do? The meteor shower killed at least 7 or 8 people. Those who were lucky enough to escape didn't end up well either. The car exploded, the meteor shower in the sky, and the smoke in the air. This wasn't a scene of a group of people surrounding one person. It was a group of people being tortured by one person. But this wasn't the end. After Wang Lan used the meteor shower, he slammed the ground. Before the other party could react, the S-grade Takashi Hoshi technique was activated. Lava gush. Hot red lava gushed out from the ground, instantly engulfing a 50-meter area in front of Wang Lan. As long as one was covered by the lava, unless they had a defensive Takashi Hoshi technique, they would all be swallowed by the lava. Chapter 3:22. This scene scared the 3 people in the car silly. Just now, the 3 of them were unhappy that Wang Lan asked them to stay in the car. They felt that as members of the team, how could they watch the show from the back? Previously, when the 4 of them were setting up the barrier, Wang Lan and Old Man Wei's duel had already made them unhappy. Moreover, before Wang Lan made his move, he even asked Yang Yang to pay attention to the 3 of them, making them feel like burdens. Of course, Old Man Wei was a quick-kill Takashi Hoshi and a Star Sea Realm cultivator. If the threat was too great, they could bear it. But now, a group of unknown Takashi Hoshi dared to block the Heavenly Sword Bureau's car. And you even asked us to watch the show. Isn't this too much? What protection? I think you're looking down on our independent team. But now, Mr. Wang, you're awesome. You're right. An S-rank meteor shower followed by an S-rank Takashi Hoshi, not to mention a group of unknown level dregs. Even a Star Sea Realm cultivator would have to kneel. You said Wang Lan was Nebula? Is there such a freaking nebula? Previously, when Wang Lan and Old Man Wei were close to each other, they thought that Wang Lan's specialty was swordsmanship, and Old Man Wei was unlucky to run into this abnormal Wang Lan. But now, sorry, I was wrong. Old Man Wei, you died unjustly. Dying without being able to experience Wang Lan's Takashi Hoshi's explosion was too pitiful. Wang Lan was very happy. After coming out of the 9-story pagoda, his strength had greatly increased. Just like the meteor shower and the lava gush, he only mastered them after coming out. After learning the Takashi Hoshi technique, he didn't pretend to be cool. But if he casually pretended to be cool, he would be letting down this S-rank Takashi Hoshi technique. Finally, there were dregs who came out of nowhere to block the door. Wang Lan, who had been holding back for a long time, couldn't bear it anymore. As for the power of the 2 Takashi Hoshi techniques, he was quite satisfied. Meteor Shower was an all-terrain Takashi Hoshi skill, and Yu Ryun had used it many times. It was also an S-rank Takashi Hoshi skill, but its power was naturally much stronger than that of Surging Sea of Flames. Therefore, Wang Lan had long been envious. As for the magma formed from the fusion of the Earth Surge Sea of Flames and the Meteor Shower, its might was just that. It directly soared to the category of beyond S-rank. If it wasn't for the fact that the attack range wasn't 100 meters, Takashi Hoshi's skill would have been beyond S-rank. Who could swim in lava? Unless you have a F*King special ability. Otherwise, I'll turn you into a fossil one by one. Originally, Wang Lan had 30 to 40 people on his side, but after the meteor shower, 1/3 of them had been destroyed. And after the earth gush lava, only 6 or 7 kittens and puppies were left alive. If the pretentious person who spoke just now was here, Wang Lan would really want to ask him, "What did you say just now?" Looking at the 3 dumbfounded people in the car, Wang Lan gently knocked on the car window. "Captain, you're too fierce." In 3 seconds, two S-rank Takashi Hoshi skills smash down and directly wipe them out? Give me some soul orbs. I don't have enough star power. One meteor shower consumed more than half of his star power, and the earth gush lava also consumed all the star power in the Yangtze. Therefore, Wang Lan was very weak now. When he thought of what Bai Su said, Wang Lan's face became a little ugly. 3 seconds? You're too fierce? Who are you scolding? Anyway, Old Man Wei had obtained a lot of mid-grade soul orbs, so taking one wasn't a big deal. Moreover, this was a battle consumption, so it wasn't considered embezzlement. After absorbing the mid-grade soul orb, his star power was instantly filled. Captain, there are still survivors. Boom! With a loud bang, the ground suddenly split open, and the gushing lava instantly sank into the ground. When the lava disappeared, 5 to 6 3-meter-tall Buddha statues appeared at the bottom of the lava. The Buddha statues instantly shattered, and figures rushed out from the Buddha statues, charging at Wang Lan with a fearless aura. Everyone, don't be afraid. He's just a Nebula Takashi Hoshi. He must have paid a great price to use 2 S-rank skills. He didn't continue to attack, which means that he's exhausted. Kill him. A battered and exhausted middle-aged man encouraged his subordinates while charging. But when he said this, even the emotionless men of sacrifice couldn't help but twitch their mouths. Is it good to lie through your teeth like this? Look at his calm and composed appearance. What does he look like he's paying a price? What does he look like he's exhausted? Although we're men of sacrifice, we're not stupid, okay? But you're right about one thing. An army is trained for 1,000 days to be used in a single moment. As men of sacrifice, they still had some professional ethics. They knew that Wang Lan was ridiculously strong, but they still charged at him without fear of death. Wang Lan's star power flashed again, and the charging men of sacrifice paused slightly. Wang Lan's star palace opened, and 2 streams of light rushed out of the star palace. The Phoenix Saint robe disintegrated and instantly covered Wang Lan's body, and the Zanpakuto was instantly unsheathed. Takashi Hoshi, attack him, wind fire net. Almost at the same time as the other party gave the order, the combination of wind net and flame blade was used in tandem with Takashi Hoshi. Damn, what's this? An all-out attack by sea, land, and air? Liu Yifeng blurted out. What do you mean? First, it was a meteor shower from the sky, then lava gushed out from the ground, and now there's a crushing net of fire. Missiles in the front, torpedoes in the back, and tanks in the end. It's an all-out attack by sea, land, and air, leaving no room for maneuver. The few at the front didn't even have time to react before the fire net swept past them, and their bodies were instantly cut into pieces in the air. The few at the back used Takashi Hoshi to resist. But like a mantis trying to stop a car, they were cut into pieces by the fire net together with Takashi Hoshi. Only the early-stage Star Sea Realm expert who gave the order to block the wind fire net looked at the people he brought with him with a dumbfounded expression. He was the only one left. Suddenly, he was alerted, and he turned around abruptly. Wang Lan's figure appeared beside him, and the sword of light from Shirkai slashed down. The opponent's body suddenly turned black. Wang Lan's sword slashed down from the head to the chest. Elementization? Ha! The symbol of the Star Sea Realm is that you can elementize. Under elementization, you are immune to all physical attacks, unless the attribute is restrained. Otherwise, you are immune to all Takashi Hoshi's attacks. Suddenly, his voice stopped, and he stared at Wang Lan with his round eyes in horror. Your sword? Oh, I forgot to tell you, this sword also has a name, Soul Slasher. As the name implies, it can cut the soul and kill the soul. You can elementize because you are awesome, but I don't know if your soul can also elementize. Die. The sword of light instantly bloomed with tens of thousands of golden light, and in a flash, the golden light pierced the opponent's body full of holes. Wang Lan slowly pulled out his sword. A dignified Star Sea Realm expert was killed by the Soul Slasher. If he didn't choose to use elementization to resist, the Soul Slasher itself couldn't cut him, and he might have the power to fight. The fallen body gradually recovered to its original appearance, and the body was pierced into a sieve by the sword of light. And when Wang Lan killed most of the people on his side, Yang Yang's side fell into a bitter battle. There were 2 Star Sea Realm experts leading the team, and a group of Star Sea Realm Death Warriors. Needless to say, the Duanmu family had definitely put in a lot of effort. Wang Lan killed with the Sword of Light, and the rhythm of the opponent's attack on Yang Yang slowed down a little. Although they were fighting with Yang Yang, Wang Lan's demon-like actions were all seen by them. In a breath, a Star Sea Realm expert and a group of Nebula Star Sea Realm experts were all killed. You say you're a Nebula? Is there a Nebula as fierce as you? Rain of light. Wang Lan's figure jumped into the sky, and countless light spots poured down like raindrops. The opponent's Star Sea Realm expert suddenly used the S-grade Takashi Hoshi skill, and countless golden light burst out from his body. Hearing the name of the Takashi Hoshi skill, Wang Lan was really shocked, thinking that the Buddha's palm had come. In fact, this was a composite Takashi Hoshi skill, which was a combination of metal and earth attributes, a bit like Su Xiangwen's pure Yang Dharma idol. However, the pure Yang Dharma idol was a Yang attribute Takashi Hoshi skill, while the opponent used a combination of metal and earth attributes to create a huge 1,000-hand Buddha statue. Countless arms waved, launching a terrifying attack. The 1,000 hands slammed down as if the sky was collapsing. The clan leader's order was very direct. Whether it was snatched back or destroyed, it must not fall into the hands of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Otherwise, the Duanmu family would be finished. They had originally planned to snatch it back, but now it seemed that it was impossible. They could only gamble with their lives. Faced with the huge hand slamming down on their heads, Yang Yang and the 3 people in the car suddenly looked terrible. Not to mention that this move would definitely kill them, but the range of this move was too large. Even if they could dodge it, the car might not be able to. However, in the eyes of Wang Lan, this move only made Wang Lan smile disdainfully. Trash! He put his palms together and his astral power surged. Omniscient nature! Countless vines grew out of Wang Lan's body and spread in an instant. The palm of the Buddha statue suddenly froze in midair. The vines that emerged from Wang Lan's body instantly entangled the palm of the Buddha statue. This was the fundamental reason why Wang Lan called this move trash. It was too slow. How could an S-grade Takashi Hoshi skill be so slow? No matter how powerful it was, it would be useless if it couldn't hit the target. As the vines multiplied, in the blink of an eye, there were dancing vines within a 300-meter radius. The real power of omniscient nature was not the entanglement of the vines, but the ability of the vines to absorb astral power. Other Takashi Hoshi skills required an endless supply of astral power to maintain, but the wood-type Takashi Hoshi skill was the opposite. As long as the activation was successful, as long as the user fought against the Takashi Hoshi skill, not only would he not need the Takashi Hoshi's astral power, but he could also absorb the enemy's astral power to maintain his own vitality. Without the Takashi Hoshi skill, the Buddha statue seemed to have entered a time tunnel and quickly weathered and shattered. The arm of the Buddha statue that was entangled by the vines cracked visibly and turned into powder. Gradually, more and more hands appeared, and even the entire Buddha statue began to crack and collapse. Suddenly, a figure rushed out from the middle of the Buddha statue and turned into a stream of light, rushing into the sky to escape. They were all in Wang Lan's omniscient nature. If he let them escape, Wang Lan would lose face in the future. The Astral Sea Realm expert, who had already exhausted his astral power, reacted sluggishly. Just as he realized that he had to dodge, the vines had already entangled his ankle. In an instant, countless vines wrapped around him like a mummy shroud, turning him into a cocoon. When the dust settled, Yang Yang and the other 3 members of the team came to their senses. Captain, you're too awesome, aren't you? How many S-grade Takashi Hoshi skills do you know? It's fine if you don't attack, but once you attack, you must be an S-grade? Do you have to be so cruel? Captain, those kamikaze warriors have all committed suicide. Yang Yang came in front of a few kamikaze warriors and found that they had all shattered their hearts and died on the spot after realizing that there was nothing they could do. Chapter 323. What a bunch of men of sacrifice. Let's go. We've caught someone alive. You guys know how to seal, right? Sealing is a must-have skill for an independent team. Wang Lan released the vines of the omniscient nature, revealing a haggard middle-aged man who had his eyes rolled back as if he had been ravaged by a dozen rich women. Yang Yang and Zhang Xiao immediately attacked, and the two of them flashed with yin-yang star power and slapped the middle-aged man's forehead almost at the same time. 3 seconds later, the two of them released, and an yin-yang mark appeared between the middle-aged man's eyebrows. Done. Take him away. The 5 of them got into the car, and Wang Lan kept feeling that there was a pair of eyes staring at him. Wang Lan looked away and smiled at Bai Su. Miss Bai Su, you've been staring at me all the way. Can you be more reserved? Captain, are you from the Yu family? What are you thinking? My surname is Wang. How can I be from the Yu family? More or less. If you had a little more, won't you be you? Is silence a tacit agreement? Captain, don't worry. We're an elite team, and we know the confidentiality rules. I promise we won't leak it out. You can forget about it. If you say that, you won't be able to tell Wang Yu apart in the future. My identity is so clean. Aren't you being too imaginative? But you know the wood element Takashi Hoshi skill. The wood element Takashi Hoshi skill is very rare, and the most famous one is the Yu family. No matter how rare the wood element is, how can it be rarer than the medical element? In fact, there are many wood element Takashi Hoshi, but only the famous experts are from the Yu family and the Duanmu family. Coupled with the strong rise of Emperor Qing, many wood element Takashi Hoshi want to rely on Emperor Qing and call themselves the Yu family to the outside world. It's causing misunderstandings for those who don't know the truth. Oh, wait, Captain, are you implying that I'm an ignorant bystander? Please remove the unspoken meaning. If you can understand it, what unspoken meaning is there? Ha ha! After Wang Lan and the others left, the superintendent rushed over again. Today, the superintendent was a little sullen. He had been running behind the Heavenly Sword Bureau all day, either dealing with the aftermath or cleaning up the mess. The 4 of them went to Ming Ye's office to report. When Ming Ye heard Wang Lan report the results of the case, his expression froze for a full 5 seconds. Then, he swallowed the tea and pretended to be calm as he asked, "Only a day and a half has passed? Is the case solved?" "Yes, I solved it. This case is actually not difficult," Wang Lan said modestly. Behind him, Lu Yifeng's mouth twitched. "Not difficult? Not difficult, my ass. I still don't understand how the case was solved. How did you find Jinghua Mansion? Last night before I went to bed, I found nothing. When I woke up this morning, you told me that you had a major clue. He felt that there was a missing piece of history there. Who is the murderer? Why did you kill him?" The murderer is called Wei Zheng. He was Xiao Qing's teammate back then. They were responsible for covering the retreat and were lucky enough to survive. He was in the early stage of the Star Sea realm, and his fighting style was close combat. He had the talent to hide his body and star power. His sword skills were extremely high. Wei Zheng? I have some impression of him. I think he was by Xiaoyan's captain. If it was him, then he should be from the Hellfire. Why did he kill him? To take revenge on society? After Xiao Qing was suppressed, the mastermind still tried to kill him. That's why he sent assassins to assassinate Bai Ji. Although Xiao Qing didn't reveal the mastermind, he didn't really leave no room for maneuver. If the mastermind wanted to eliminate him, Xiao Qing would use his backup plan to fight to the death. And this backup plan was in Wei Zheng's hands. Wei Zheng killed him to vent. In his words, he hated betrayers the most. That's all. Wait, you said you have information about the mastermind behind Xiao Qing? Is it the Duanmu clan? Mingyi couldn't calm down and hurriedly stood up to ask. It should be the Duanmu clan, but I don't have evidence. However, I found some mental imprint soul pearls in Wei Zheng's house. There should be evidence left by Xiao Qing in them that can be used to lock onto the mastermind. Let's go. I'll report to the chief and check the evidence together. Oh, right. Chief, can you help me investigate a person? Oh, Duan Mufangwa, also known as Mufangwa. I'll try to be as detailed as possible, including his family, relatives, friends, connections, etc. Why do you want to investigate him? I keep feeling that he's like a poisonous snake, which makes me uneasy. Moreover, when we arrested Wei Zheng in Jinghua Mansion today, he was also there, although his family lives in Jinghua Mansion. However, on our way back, we were immediately intercepted and attacked by death warriors. How did our whereabouts get exposed? I don't believe that the Duanmu clan could know my every move so quickly. If they were so powerful, they would have controlled Shanghai long ago. You suspect that Duanmu Fanghua leaked information? Yes, I suspect that Duanmu Fanghua also happened to investigate Wei Zheng, because when I saw him, he was walking under Wei Zheng's building. His family lives near the North Gate. Even if he came back from grocery shopping, there was no need to give up the closer North Gate and enter from the South Gate. But I'm just suspecting there's no evidence. Good. I'll arrange someone to investigate as soon as possible. An hour later, Cheng Jianlong came to the conference room with a middle-aged man. This is Special Commissioner Yu Ruojin of the General Staff Department. This is our Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau's Operations Department Chief Mingyi. This is Operations Department's Major Wang Lan. Hello, Chief. Wang Lan, classmate. I've been looking forward to meeting you for a long time. In the future, please take care of Her Royal Highness. The other party politely shook hands with Wang Lan and said, but to Mingyi, he was obviously a lot colder. Byakuya, tell me, what's the major discovery? Chief, Special Commissioner. Yesterday morning, I called Wang Lan and assigned him to investigate the recent bizarre serial murder case. Wang Lan really lived up to my expectations. In just a day and a half, he found the murderer. The murderer is called Wei Zheng, an accomplice of Shao Qing. The purpose of the murder was to avenge Shao Qing. We collected a large number of middle-grade soul beads in Wei Zheng's house. Most importantly, we collected the spiritual imprint soul beads left by Shao Qing. These were the things that Shao Qing was unwilling to confess even when he died. After I classified the evidence with the evidence department, we determined that Shao Qing's behind-the-scenes supporter is Duanmu Qingtsong, the patriarch of the Duanmu family. Shao Qing left behind many images of him meeting Duanmu Qingtsong and taking orders from him. Duanmu family? Humph, I should have thought of it. Yu Ruojin's face didn't change. The Takashi Hoshi family is getting more and more outrageous. The world has been peaceful for 70 years, and many Takashi Hoshi families are almost rotten to the core. Stealing space stones, stealing soul beads, selling soul beads, etc. This Duanmu family is the top Takashi Hoshi family in Jade State, and Duanmu Qingtsong is the patriarch of the family. They don't even care about their face. That's it. Cheng Jianlong was relatively calm and said faintly after listening. The purpose of attacking Shao Qing was to stabilize the soul bead market, not to completely destroy it. As for who was supporting Shao Qing, it wasn't particularly important. If it could be dealt with, then it would be done. If it couldn't be dealt with, then it would be left aside. Director, there's a video that is very unusual. Wang Lan. Yes. As Wang Lan spoke, he picked up a soul bead and read it. Then he opened his left hand, and star power surged. A green screen with star power surging rose from Wang Lan's left hand, and an image appeared on the screen. It was a dark secret room. Duanmu Qingtsong was sitting on the main seat, and Shao Qing was standing in front of Duanmu Qingtsong with his head lowered, showing a respectful look. Shao Qing, I have just received 100,000 soul beads. Get rid of them as soon as possible. As soon as possible? How long is it? 1 month. Isn't it too rushed? The demand for soul beads is not very high recently. I don't want to hear about any difficulties. I just want you to give me results. I need a large sum of money now, and the client wants a large number of spatial stones. Putting 100,000 soul beads into the market will impact the price of soul beads, and the profit will shrink a lot. I need 5 billion. 100,000 soul beads can only be sold for 5 billion at the normal price. If we sell so many soul beads at once, we can only give up a part of the profit, and we have to sell them within a month. It is very difficult to reach 5 billion. At most 3 billion. Xiaoqing, don't think that I don't know about your little tricks just because I handed everything to you. If I can raise you up, I can also raise him up. There are 10,000 mid-grade soul beads among 100,000 soul beads, and you are telling me that you can't get 5 billion? Yes, I will try my best. If there is nothing else, you can leave. Someone will send 100,000 soul beads to you tonight. Boss, may I be so bold as to ask a question? Where did these 100,000 soul beads come from? You can remember Lu Zhao's name. Yes, then I will take my leave. The image froze there, and the information contained in the video made everyone's expression turn serious. Cebu Gakuin's 100,000 soul beads were not sold by Lu Xiao. It was Duanmu Qingsong. What an old man. He is really daring, Yu Ruojin shouted angrily. This is not the most important. Before this, the Heavenly Sword Bureau had been investigating who helped Lu Xiao sell the 100,000 soul beads from Cebu Gakuin. Lu Xiao was killed, and then Cebu Gakuin gave the clue that it was Vice Principal Qi Chongling. Then the Heavenly Sword Bureau rushed to Xishan Province, but Qi Chongling had disappeared. We also thought that the mastermind of the soul beads was Qi Chongling, and that he had fled in fear of punishment. But there were still many suspicious points. Qi Chongling did not seem like someone who would do such a thing. But because there were no clues, the investigation had to stop. Since these 100,000 soul beads came from Duanmu Qingsong, he must know who stole the soul beads. Ming Yi told the result of his discussion with Wang Lan. I'm afraid this is not the most important thing. Yu Ruojin suddenly shouted darkly. Does that big rat hiding in Cebu Gakuin only know how to steal and sell soul beads? Commissioner, what you mean is Director Chung. Did you forget that there was a sword incident in Cebu Gakuin? Someone dared to plot against the second princess. The big rat in Cebu Gakuin was not of a low level to be able to successfully sneak into the 9-story pagoda. Since your Heavenly Sword Bureau has investigated clearly, the Duanmu family once sent death warriors to the 9-story pagoda to assassinate Bai Ji. Then was the person who set the trap in Death Valley also him? Wang Lan's eyes flashed. It is very possible. Even if it is not one person, there must be a collusion. Then what are we waiting for? Arrest Duanmu Qingsong, Ming Yi shouted hurriedly. The Duanmu family, what a Duanmu family. The dog they raised for hundreds of years is starting to bite its master. Director Chung, for this arrest, the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family should work together. Chapter 324. After all, the Duanmu family is one of the top families in the Jade State. The Heavenly Sword Bureau alone may not be able to suppress the Duanmu family. It would be best if the Yu family could act together. The Duanmu family of Shanghai was one of the top 10 Takashi Hoshi families in the Jade State. It was a powerful Takashi Hoshi family. The Duanmu family had many talents and 5 title battle pet warriors. However, no one knew Duanmu Qingsong's strength. According to the information collected by the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Duanmu Qingsong was at the peak of the Star Sea realm at best. When Wang Lan saw this information, a trace of doubt appeared on her face. Do you think Duanmu Qingsong, as the family head of the Duanmu family, is not worthy of his position? Yu Yi asked with a smile, looking at Wang Lan's expression. I have some doubts. No one said that the family head of a family must be the most powerful battle pet warrior in the family, Yu Ruojin said to Wang Lan with a smile. Since Wang Lan met Yu Ruojin the night before, Yu Ruojin had been very close to Wang Lan. Yu Ruojin and Chung Jianlong talked in a formal manner, but she treated Wang Lan as if they were old friends. Maybe it was because Yu Ruiyun and Yu Ruojin were close. Actually, it's the opposite. Many Takashi Hoshi family heads are not particularly powerful. Take our Yu family as an example. The most powerful one is our eldest uncle, but he is not the family head. The family head is our second uncle. Our second uncle is powerful and is a title battle pet warrior. But among the title battle pet warriors, he is only at the middle level. In the Yu family, there are at least 20 people who are more powerful than our second uncle. The family head not only needs to be powerful, but also needs to manage the entire family. A policy can lead to the rise and fall of the family. Therefore, even though the family head can command the entire family, he is the one who has to work the hardest. Because the slightest carelessness can bring incalculable losses to the family. When there are too many things to worry about, the family head will not put too much effort into cultivation. It will be considered good if the family head's strength did not regress, not to mention the increase in strength. There were even some Takashi Hoshi family members who were very talented and had a lot of room for growth that would be removed from the list of candidates for the position of patriarch. The family needs them to be stronger to stabilize the family's position. Is that so? Looks like I was wrong. Factions and clans have a fundamental meaning. If it's a faction, its flag must be the strongest because it's the symbol of the faction. Only with a signboard would there be cohesion. However, the clan itself was connected by the bloodline and was naturally cohesive. What the clan leader needed more was the ability to manage. It's a pity that the Duanmu clan chose Duanmu Qingsong, this scum. 3 days ago, the Duanmu family secretly summoned the 5 title battle pet warriors back to the family. They thought that they did it without anyone noticing. Haha. In fact, we have been monitoring them all this time. 5 titled battle pet warriors. Chung Jianlong heaved a long sigh. The Jade State only has slightly more than 300 title battle pet warriors. What a great loss. Don't worry, Chief Chung. If the 5 of them are willing to turn over a new leaf, we won't have to kill them all. Uncle will personally take action tonight. When the lanterns were lit, a pale yellow full moon quietly hung in the sky. The sun in the west had just set. Wang Lan and his team of 4 sat in a cafe on a busy street. Yang Yang and the other 3 looked a little excited. Originally, except for Yang Yang, the other 3 were not qualified to take part in this operation. Their opponent was the Duanmu clan, which had more than 50 Star Sea Realm warriors. To attack such a powerful force, those below the Star Sea Realm would not be able to take part in the operation. This operation was a joint operation between the Shanghai Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu clan. The Yu clan directly dispatched 30 Star Sea Realm warriors and 5 title battle pet warriors. The Heavenly Sword Bureau also had 12 Star Sea Realm warriors and 1 title battle pet warrior, Chung Jianlong. As for the other members of the Heavenly Sword Bureau, they were just guarding the various roads to prevent the Duanmu clan from escaping. At first glance, the strength of the Duanmu clan didn't seem to be optimistic. The Duanmu clan seemed to be stronger than the Emperor Qing, but this operation had the support of the Emperor Qing. Otherwise, why would the Yu clan only dispatch 30-star Sea Realm warriors? The 3 of you, don't get too excited. Although we've been assigned to the operation team, let me remind you, don't rush forward blindly. That's the Duanmu clan, not the alternate space. The Duanmu clan is an old Takashi Hoshi clan with a few hundred years of history. Their strength is unfathomable. We're just here to be a bystander and catch some small fries to gain experience. Don't go looking for trouble. When the time comes, I'll have to apply for a martyr's medal for you. Yang Yang's low voice suddenly sounded. Vice Captain, how much are you looking down on us? We're an elite team, okay? It's true that you're an elite team, but the Duanmu clan is a giant beast. Don't be ignorant. I know. We'll just follow the 2 of you and take advantage of the situation. Wang Lan put away his phone and suddenly said, It's about time that the Duanmu clan sensed the problem. The operation is about to begin. The operation team consisted of about 10 teams, all of which were the Star Sea Realm. They contacted each other through mobile phones and approached the Duanmu clan from all directions. Every independent team had a special battlefield correspondent. Wang Lan and Yang Yang each had a headset. Team 12, please take note. Head to Coordinate C in 5 minutes and launch the attack in 10 minutes. Your mission is to occupy and control the families in the underground parking lot of Building C as quickly as possible. Team 7 will cooperate with you during the operation. Understood. Wang Lan stood up and started to move. The 5-man team left the coffee shop with a whoosh. Their figures shuttled through the busy streets like fish. In the blink of an eye, they crossed 2 streets and arrived outside the Duanmu clan. Although the Duanmu clan's location was very quiet, it was less than 1 kilometer away from the bustling downtown area. They were really able to set up a hut in the human realm without any traffic. At that moment, a blue light screen rose above the Duanmu clan's walls. This was an electromagnetic barrier. One had to know that the electromagnetic barrier that Wang Lan's family used for cultivation was equipment that Jiang Xinyu and the others were envious of. However, the Duanmu clan actually had an electromagnetic barrier that enveloped the entire clan. The Duanmu clan itself was a huge residential area. If one were to look down from the sky, it would not be any different from other high-end residential areas. The only difference was that the structure was more like a Tai Chi 8 trigrams array. The outer area was a residential building. It was a 6-story building. The people who lived there were Takashi Hoshi and their families who relied on the Duanmu clan. In the middle was the Duanmu clan side branch and the leaders of the Duanmu clan's forces. It was a duplex structure. In the innermost ring was the Duanmu clan's direct line of descent and the Duanmu clan's upper echelons. In the center of the residential area was a large Tai Chi pattern practice field. There were clinics, supermarkets, shopping malls, and kindergartens in the residential area. The facilities were complete, just like a small town in the city. The total population of this residential area was around 7,000 people, but 4,000 to 5,000 of them were family members. But don't look at these family members. The wives of Takashi Hoshi were basically Takashi Hoshi. The ones who were really harmless were the children. Even the elderly could be veteran Takashi Hoshi. When a firework broke through the void, the operation began. Wang Lan instantly opened the Star Palace. The Phoenix constellation, Saint Robe, and Zanpakuto flew out of the Star Palace. Under normal circumstances, Wang Lan rarely put on the Saint Robe in advance. But this time was different. They were dealing with the Duanmu clan. Although the Saint Robe only covered 50% of the area, in principle, it covered 100%. Even the areas that were not covered by the Saint Robe would be transferred to the Saint Robe. Unless the defense of the Saint Robe was directly broken, the damage that Wang Lan received would be minimal. Coupled with the healing ability, the combination of the two might not be realistic for Wang Lan to be invincible, but it would not be difficult for Wang Lan to keep his life. When Wang Lan rushed out with the team, for black-clothed Takashi Hoshi suddenly rushed out from the side. Each of them had a ribbon tied to their forehead. The front of the ribbon was in the shape of a pair of Magatama. The speed of the 4 of them was twice as fast as Wang Lan's team. In the blink of an eye, the star power surged and a thunderbolt blasted out. In an instant, a gap appeared on the electromagnetic barrier that rose above the Duanmu clan's wall. The 4 of them passed through the gap like ghosts, and the gap quickly closed under the continuous electromagnetic force. Quick! Wang Lan roared and raised his finger. The electromagnetic thunderbolt turned into wings that spread out on his wrist. 3 thunder arrows in the shape of a triangle hit the electromagnetic gap that was gradually closing. Boom! 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 The electromagnetic barrier was torn open again, and the 5 of them rushed into the electromagnetic barrier like flowing light. There are intruders here, too. There was a cry of alarm, and dozens of figures flashed. Just as Wang Lan and the others stood up, more than 20 Takashi Hoshi, wearing the Duanmu clan's uniform, rushed out from the green belt in the distance. Who dares to invade the Duanmu clan? Magatama clan emblem? You are from the Yu clan? What is the Yu clan doing? What are they doing? The Duanmu clan attempted to assassinate the second princess, and now the truth is out. If you know what's good for you, surrender. We will be lenient with those who are not involved. *T. The Heavenly Sword Bureau's Operations Department has been ordered to arrest the leaders of the Duanmu clan. Those who are not involved, put down your weapons and surrender. After screening, those who are not involved will be released. You are just subordinates of the Duanmu clan. There is no need to be buried with the Duanmu clan, right? Wang Lan took out his identification and shouted, "Everyone, don't listen to his nonsense. The Heavenly Sword Bureau is a spy agency. Bringing the Yu clan to invade today is an act of aggression. Since we are subordinates of the Duanmu clan, our interests are closely tied to the Duanmu clan. If the Duanmu clan falls, do we still have any hope of rising again? That's right. Commander Wuji is here. Stop them." Amidst the commotion, both parties got into formation. Wang Lan sighed softly. It seemed like all the nonsense from before was in vain. "Attack!" Suddenly, the leader of the Yu clan team shouted. Wang Lan's team reacted instantly. The Takashi Hoshi of the Duanmu clan also quickly attacked. For example, when destroying the nest of a criminal group, that group of crazy criminals would use their children and relatives as hostages to negotiate terms with the law enforcers. At this time, they were no longer husbands, sons, or fathers. They were naked devils. They would not hesitate to kill their own family members as much as they killed their enemies. As long as they could escape the punishment of the law, they would do anything. After Wang Lan and the Yu family's teams separated, they immediately rushed forward. At the place where the contracted, mutated beast appeared, the battle seemed to have reached a stalemate. Many people were rushing in that direction. Terrifying explosions and powerful astral power fluctuations were also surging wildly from that place. "Let's go," Wang Lan ordered, and the five-man team successfully advanced 100 meters. "Stop, kill them." A dozen or so Takashi Hoshi teams appear in front of them. Their average strength was nebula, and 3 or 4 of them were galaxy-grade. This kind of strength was nothing in front of Wang Lan's team. Wang Lan's figure turned into a stream of light. The galaxy-grade expert seemed to have sensed the level of Wang Lan's astral power fluctuations, and a disdainful sneer appeared on his face. A nebula guy dared to rush over so brazenly? It seemed like he did not know how to write the word death. Just as this thought appeared in his mind, Wang Lan's figure disappeared in an instant. The galaxy-grade expert was still in shock when he suddenly felt a chill behind him. He did not know when Wang Lan had appeared behind him, and the sword of light gently slashed across his back. The attack of the soul slasher was both physical and spiritual, so even if the wound was small and did not affect the battle, the spiritual paralysis would make the body stiff and unable to resist. How should one describe the intercepting team rushing over from the opposite side? It was like instant coffee. They collided violently with Wang Lan's 5-man team, and then disappeared with a whoosh. "Let's go." When they reached the entrance of the underground parking lot, the 5 people rushed in like a hot knife through butter. Although there were dozens of people intercepting them along the way, a group of Nebula Galaxy-grade cultivators was really not enough in front of Wang Lan's high-quality team. The main force of the Duanmu family had all gone to the central battlefield, which made it seem as if the Duanmu family was not as strong as they had imagined. The small team of 5 actually killed everything that stood in their way. In less than 10 minutes, the 5 people killed their way to the second floor of the underground parking lot. At this moment, the heavy iron door was already closed. However, this thing could only block ordinary people. Even a star-blazing Takashi Hoshi would not be able to block it. Many of the girls had tears in their eyes. Although they had never seen the group of people who suddenly appeared, they were definitely from the Duanmu family. But what did they do? They didn't even say a single word. They just fired at him. Other than the Duanmu family, how many of these women were normal people? Probably not even 1/10 of them. In the Takashi Hoshi world, those who got married and had children were mostly Takashi Hoshi. He took out the wind snare soul gathering grenade and controlled the vines to send it into the enemy's camp. Those were the most grenades were thrown and where the firepower was the fiercest. Boom! With a soft sound, a middle-grade soul bead rolled into the middle of the crowd. The men of sacrifice who were firing like crazy merely lowered their heads and glanced at it, then turned their heads away emotionlessly, throwing a middle-grade soul bead at us. Are you trying to bribe us? Ha! As men of sacrifice trained by the Duanmu family, we have professional integrity. You want us to betray our integrity with a mere middle-grade soul bead? Suddenly, the middle-grade soul bead flashed with waves of star power. In an instant, terrifying wind blades spread out with the soul bead as the center, expanding to a range of 50 meters in an instant, forming a network of wind blades. The 40 men of sacrifice within 50 meters didn't even realize what was happening before they were cut into pieces and died. The firepower stopped abruptly, not only in the camp swallowed by the wind blades, but also in the small camp not far away. The men of sacrifice were stupefied by the scene in front of them. Their minds went blank. Who am I? Where am I? What should I do? Suddenly, a stream of light flashed. A rain of light scattered like a curtain in the sky. They didn't need to think about the 3 consecutive answers. Wang Lan's sword had cut through their necks. Wang Lan wouldn't show any mercy to this kind of trash who could kill ordinary people and their own families. After killing this group of men of sacrifice, the crisis was finally over. Nothing happened in the remaining 200 meters. Wang Lan broke the electromagnetic protection net at the north gate and successfully sent the 500 women and children out. Outside, there were people from the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the superintendent waiting to receive them. They would be taken into the Heavenly Sword Bureau for quarantine and investigation. Liaison, Team 12 has completed the mission, requesting further instructions. Captain Wang, the Duanmu family is crazily hunting down the women and children. Team 7 is requesting backup. The coordinates are, after receiving the order, Wang Lan hurried over with his team. The main forces and subordinates of the Duanmu family were fighting desperately with the experts of the Heavenly Sword Bureau and the Yu family at the center of the battlefield, 1 kilometer away. Their families were crazily being hunted down by the men of sacrifice of the Duanmu family. Such a scene was ironic just thinking about it, let alone talking about it. The people you were working for were killing your wives and children, while the people you were fighting for were trying to save your families. However, such things couldn't be explained on the battlefield. Even if you said it, no one would believe you. The truth could only be revealed after the battle.